Hello guys, welcome to the stream. Nice to have you all in again. Sunday night, nice relaxed stream, no competitions, no messing about. We're just going to talk tonight. I've just had a bit of an out-of-body experience. I've just given my car to my daughter. It's her first week driving. Well, she hasn't really driven at night before, and she had to go into work. They had a stock day where she worked till 9. I'm sitting here just about to go live, and I heard crunch. She only just, the fence down the side of my house, she just backed into it, but we all did it, didn't we? Anyway, right, okay. Hi, Mazza. Finally able to catch a live stream at home, relaxing with a few cold beers. Good help here. Yeah, that's good. Nice to have you in, Mazza. Andy on tour, Broken Dreams. Hi, how you doing? No name. Question about, okay, first serious question. Let's get into this, right? Question about wire transfer. Wise transfer. What clarification if you need to put in your bank details every time you make a transfer, or if it defaults to what was initially set up. Now, if you watch my channel regularly, I'm a great fan of Wise. They're one of the cheapest and most reliable ways to send money to Thailand. You can't send it the other way, unfortunately. I don't know why. But in answer to your question, once you've set up a debit card or a bank account, however you want to transfer money, then that will be the default. And you can add as many debit cards and bank accounts as you want to. And every time you go to make a transfer, it will say, shall we take the funds from this last one that you used? Or you can click a box and say, no, take it from this one. I use several. And the other part of your question, no, you only need to put the bank details in of a recipient if it's somebody new. So, for instance, if you've got, let's just say you've got a girlfriend in Thailand, you like to send her 2,000 baht every now and again, every 2 or 3 weeks. A lot of guys do, it's a present. And once you input her details, so they want the name, the address, her bank details, account number, all the rest of it. Now, hang on, Damon just said there's an echo. Now, let me just turn this down. Let me know how that is, Damon. I'll just turn the speakers away. Right, hopefully that's a bit better. Yeah, once you put all the details in, then the next time you want to send her money, it will have her name there, and it will just say, who do you want to send money to? Somebody new or somebody you've already sent money to, and you click it, and it's really easy, it's reliable, and it's great. Okay, I hope that's answered your question. Crypto Chris Card, how are you doing? How are we doing, Damien? Have we still got an echo? Anybody else hearing an echo, or are we okay now? Sometimes if I have the speakers facing me, it catches the mic. I've turned them right away now, so hopefully that should be better. Just waiting for Damien's note there. Right, okay. Won't worry about it for the moment. Crypto Chris, yeah, hi. Wise Stories, your bank account details, okay. No name. Currently, it looks like you have to set up a new transfer each time. Is that right? No, I've just explained it. You don't. You only set up a new. Okay, Damien said it's still the same. Is it really bad, Damien? Or let me just check here what's going on, because I don't want to be echoing all the way through. Check the old audio. Echo cancellation is on. Let me bring the volume down slightly. You might have to put your volume up your end, guys. I've just brought it down. Maybe that's too loud. Okay, I've put the volume on the speakers right down now, so that should. I can't do anything else now. That's it. Let me know how it is. Okay, it's thrown me off a little bit. Yeah, so like I say, if it's a new person, you have to set up the details again. If it's somebody you've already sent money to, then no, you don't. And the same with the card and the bank details. Okay. Right. Okay. Right. Evening to, is it Alfreda Jim? Good evening. How you doing? Capel 17. How you doing, Ronnie? Married to a bar girl. Nice name there. Good evening, everybody. STE Billabo. Evening, folks. Looks like a bit of an international crowd in tonight. I'm just looking out for Damon's message again. Andrew Hammond. Sounds still bad. Okay, so I don't know what to do here. Let's have a look. Hang on. That might have done it. It wasn't quite pushed in. Can somebody let me know what the sound's like now? It's not the wrong mic. Let me just double check that. Okay. I got it.
Right, that should be perfect now. That will be absolutely perfect. What it does, I know it's gone fine now. What it is, there's a choice of microphones, and by default, I've set it up to go on this mic. But sometimes the camera software takes over, and there is actually a mic on the camera. So what happens? It picks up that mic, and of course, it's picking up all the sound around the room. Yeah, everybody's saying it's perfect now. Okay, thanks for letting me know, guys. What a way to go through a stream. Let me double check. Yeah, we're on the real time. We're on this mic now. It was on there. Right. Always brings me out in a sweat. Always puts me off. So let me carry on saying good evening to everyone, because a little bit behind in the stream now. Over 250 in. If you've just joined us this evening, welcome. Okay, John Malin. Hi. How you doing? Thailand found. Hi, Peter. Hi, everyone. I've turned my back on mongering and decided to become a proper tourist until I move to Thailand. Well done. Well done to you. Good move. James Casey. Hello, Peter. Hello to the group. Hi. Carl D. Hello to everyone. Everybody's saying hello now. Michael Mackeson. Good evening from Boston. Oh, good to have you in, Michael. International crowd, as I said. Clive, how you doing? Richard Woolley. Hello, Peter and the legendary Mongers. Simon Mays. Good evening, my fellow Mongers. Thailand found dodgy package in the girl in the thumbnail. All right. No name. Never turn your back on mongering. Even proper tourists need love. Barry from EastEnders. I think Monger Minute should be repeated on Sundays. Well, you get bored. I could do the same Monger Minute. I've actually deleted it because it's a new stream. I think I've deleted it. Let me just check here. Yep, I've deleted it. I'm a little bit out of breath because I ran from the outside. If you just joined us, my daughter has just backed into the fence. She's just been driving since Monday, and she's just sitting there, a crash, you know. But luckily, she thinks it's really serious. She's looked at it, and because it's a brown fence, a garden fence that's been painted, the whole back of the corner of the car has gone brown, and she thinks she's ruined the car. But you know, guys, drop a teacup, a good bit of elbow grease, I can get rid of that. There's no dents in it. I checked it, but you know, when you're sitting here and you hear crash, you know, it's a bit concerning. Okay, Damien, right. Even if it's okay, we've read that one. Colin Moore, the pound took about, yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about the pound and the currencies. The English, the pound it's really taking a bashing at the moment. If you're American, you're in a good position. I will talk about this. Colin Moore, the pound to baht conversion is stressing me right out. It can't go lower, surely. Well, I'll tell you about that because it can. It's meant to be declining as well. Right. Old Fogarty, who's that girl in the thumbnail? That's why I go to Thailand for my holidays. Yeah, who is she? She's one of many, I guess. You know, when I put these, you know, some people will say to me, oh, your thumbnails are clickbait. And I guess they are to a point. I won't deny it. But I mean, you know, like I said to you a few weeks ago, if you go in to have your tyres changed to your local garage, and there's a calendar on the mechanic's wall there's not a picture of a nice Roman bit of countryside, is there? You know, and sheep and a church spire. What's there? It's some girl in a black bikini bent over one of these tyres, you know. So who doesn't like to look at a nice picture? Donald Trump, howdy, Captain Peter. You're on the same time as Frozen Planet 2. I haven't watched that. I like stuff like that. Jeff Fried Rice, how you doing? Hugh Jazz, hello from California. Yeah, good to have you in, Hugh Jazz. Dutch Farang, how you doing? It's really weird to look at your logo now, Dutch Farang, because it's gone green because you're now a member. And I've been looking at you for your thing for 2 years. It is 2 years. And you've always been black, the same as everybody else. But good to have you as a member. Anyway, Carl D. Randy, how are you doing? PA Comanche, let's put you up there. Another handsome man. Good afternoon, Peter. Full weather have arrived in Kansas City. Time to pack up for Thailand before cold come. Yeah, I was talking to somebody else today, and the person I was talking to, I was complaining about the English pound. I was like getting stressed out about it as well. And this person actually said to me, they said, well, you're going to Thailand. You're going to miss the winter. You know, it's terrible in the UK at the moment for a lot of reasons, not just the weather. I'm not going to go on to a whinge because that's not me. But, you know, people coming across, well, that's eased off the boats because the sea's got a bit choppy now, hasn't it? But, you know, our fabulous new prime minister and everything that's going on around the world. I mean, you know, like I say, I could turn this stream into a chat about all those things, but all negative, all horrible, and I don't want to get into it. Right, Ryan Seeger, I nearly forgot about tonight, 14 days and counting down. Don't forget, guys, next Saturday, the clocks go back an hour. I think it's at 2 a.m. they go back. So you get an extra hour in bed, I believe. So that's next Saturday. Right. Andrew Hammond says, hi, Peter. Only 9 days to go. Yeah, not long now. Keenock, Choddy, John Millen, is it? He plays the pipes and all the Mongers follow him. Well, I'm not actually a Monger, John. Look, I'll put my where is it? Let's have a look. You see, look, I'm displaying my name there. Let me get rid of the oh God, I'm still out of breath from running. I ran from outside to here to get here for the stream, and you know, she's all upset now. Bear with me a minute. Oh, oh, that got rid of it. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not. That's my name. I'm the fake monger. Right. Let's have a look. Paul Harrison, evening. Dutch Frank. Oh, Peter, your sound is not great. Well, that's from before, isn't it? Because I'm way behind. I think the sound's perfect now, isn't it? Hugh Jass agrees. Sound is not good. Right. These are old, I'm sure. Damon Sound. Peter Echo. I hope this is not again. Right. Okay. Right, Matthew Cartwright. Good evening, Peter. Evening, Mongers. Yeah, good to see you last night as well, Matthew. Right, they're still saying terrible sound. Are these old messages? Okay, these must be old. Let me get right down to the bottom here. Okay, I haven't seen Sheila. A lot of people saying hello to Sheila. Are you? Oh, yeah, there you are. Right. Just to let you know, guys, I was going to say a surprise guest next week, but next Sunday will be my, let me just check this text because it might be about the sound. Next Sunday will be my last stream in the UK for about at least 2 months, maybe 3. No. Okay. Right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm just checking everything. We're on our way now. We're on our way. Yeah. So next Sunday is actually my last stream here in the UK for at least 2 months, possibly 3. And I thought, who could I get on as my guest on Sunday? A good guest for the last stream in the UK. And I thought, you know what? Let's get Sheila back on. I spoke to her today briefly by text. We text each other sometimes. So I'm going to have a chat with her because we've already spoken about her sexuality and her girlfriend and stuff like that. So I don't want to kind of go down that way again. I want to talk about something totally different. We don't get the chance to get many females on here. Sheila's very open. She's not easily offended. So if you've got any ideas what we can talk about, let us know now, and I'll discuss it in the week with Sheila. Okay, now let me. Where are we? Who haven't I said hello to? Let me go back to the old comments. I'm not going to read the actual comment. Just say hello to everyone because we'll get way behind. Right. Where was I? Is it Leja? Wrong mic is on. Right. Okay. So I know these are old. Yeah. Good. Super nice. Hi, Blake. How you doing? Kev12364. Good evening, everybody. Corporate Mahan. I'll get that right one day. Paul Hoskin. It was terrible, Paul. It was terrible. Alan H. Yeah. Mike sounds. Corporate. I've said hi to you. Super nice. I've said hi to you. Let's get way down here. Said hi to Matthew. Toon Wooters, is it? Wrong mic. It was a wrong mic. It's perfect now. Boom Guna, another good name. John Hobson. Andrew Hammond again. No change. Well, there is now, Andrew, because it's... let's stop talking about the mic. I know it's okay now. Ryan Seeger. Mr. Superstar. Perfect. Okay. Mario Herrera. How you doing? Mark H. That's better. Thailand fan. Yeah, everyone say it's okay. Let's get way past here. Alan H. How you doing? Mickey Berkshire, hi. Deep the Trucker, how you doing? Hi, Peter, that's better, yeah. Damien, yeah, we're all good. Franco, I wasn't sure if you're going to be in tonight or not, Franco, but good to see you in. So Franco in the background there. And hi to, obviously, Damien's the other moderator in there tonight. But I haven't had too many trolls in lately. It's been pretty good. I shouldn't speak too soon, should I? Ty Billy Boy, how you doing? I think we've said hello to everyone now, haven't we? Near enough. Mazza, I've said hello to. Chris W1888 was with Apple this morning, getting into Bangkok. Thanks for the tip and recommend her to others. Yeah, she's a lovely lady. You don't get many taxi drivers who are pleasant like that. And if you want to, I'm always promoting Apple. I don't get nothing out of it, but I like to help some Thais who are friends. And if you're looking for a taxi, a good taxi, then let me know and I'll put Apple's line up again. Colonel the Bard, lads, what's your favorite Thai dish? That's a good question, actually. Let me put that up. So I can't really ask you. You can put it in the comments. Personally, for me, I've got 2. I'm not very adventurous. I like chicken fried rice with an egg on top because it's quick, it's easy. You can eat it and you can still go out drinking. It's not too filling, but it hits the spot. The other one, of course, is pad Thai. But of course, I always have to ask them not to put sugar in it because I was diabetic too. I've come out of it now through a bit of discipline. I have put weight on again, the old chubby chops. But there's so many answers we could give, isn't there? My problem is I'm not a great fan of garlic, and I do eat a lot of food with garlic in it because I can't really smell it, but I know it's in there. Like Indian food has garlic in it, but it's not. You don't smell it. But You know, a lot of the Thai food, like when you get the pork, you know, the pork, I forget what they call it, minced pork and various, it really hits you, that garlic smell. It just makes me want to reach, you know. That's quite good, actually. Thailand fan says, Pete, if you just joined us, you know, my daughter hit the fence just now in the car. She said, Peter, it's a scolder. I feel sorry for the fence. Yeah, I know. Luckily, though, you know, it's, you know, the fence, it's got great big posts. They're bigger than normal ones. I had the gypsies did it for me, local gypsies, right? And they put kind of bigger posts in that I wanted, but they're okay. But what she did, because she hit the fence head on, not side on, she'd have gone through the panel, but because she was backing up and she hit the post is like, you know, it's like a hobnob biscuit. Again, as Peter Kay would say, it's not done nothing to the fence. I just heard this almighty crash. I went out there, she's nearly in tears, but you know, God, what can you do? You know, she's just, it's a third day driving or something like that. Okay, Peter, how about a half monger for Sundays? I don't want to get into anything on Sundays. Sundays is just about a chat and a beer and seeing how it goes, you know. It normally goes all right, actually. Right. I'm just going to call you corporate, okay? Because I always get I can't say your name. Muck Mahon, I think it is. Right. Mongers, I have 2 weeks. I want to book 1 week Pattaya. Where would you spend the other week? I want a beautiful place to chill, premium villa. Where would you go, which is easy to travel to? I don't know if you've been to Pattaya before, but you know, this might sound a bit of a crazy idea, but if you're staying in Pattaya, like downtown Pattaya, along the beach road, up that way somewhere, it's not such a bad idea to just simply move over to Jomtien, because it's completely different. You know, you've got a huge stretch of beach. It's a lot more peaceful than regular Pattaya. You've still got some nice restaurants, a few bars. But if you want something like real idyllic, like a Bounty advert, for instance, you know, white sands and palm trees and beach huts, then you got to go to one of the islands, haven't you? You know, that's probably, or somewhere like Rayong, for instance. Rayong's not Chatham, perfect. Look up Chatham on the internet. It's a very quiet town. There's not a lot to do there, but from what you've just described, Chatham would be good for you on the beach. Right, Tom Waddington, have you got anyone on the show today? Not tonight. Next week, Sheila will be on if I don't upset her. Right, Clive says, I backed into a giant tree once. We all do it. Yeah, we've all done it. She's like, God, she's only 21. You know, I gave her the car. It's a graduation present. She's just got a bachelor's degree. I left school at 15 with nothing, went straight down to steelworks. You know, I'm not sympathy hunting, but that's how it was in 1975 when I left school. My father died. My mother needed money. So I went to work in the steelworks, and every Friday we got a brown envelope. I gave her it. She'd take £2 out and give me £2. That's how it was back then. So my daughter's just got a bachelor's degree. Very, very proud of her. So I said to her, look, well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you this car and I'm going to pay for your first year's insurance up front. And I paid £100 more so she didn't have to have a black box, because my first daughter had the black box fitted, and they kept ringing her up. Why did you brake so hard at that roundabout? Why did you do 2 miles over this 30 miles? I mean, it's a bloody headache, and I still drive it occasionally. I don't want them ringing me up. Right. James Casey, pound is screwed. Okay, let's talk about the pound a little bit. There's probably a few people I haven't said hi to. Boohoo, how are you? Tim Askew. Mark Hanley, hi, how are you doing? I've said hi to you, Sheila. Yeah, Dutch Frank. Thank you, Peter. You're welcome. You are welcome. Right. Okay. I'll say hi to the rest. Everybody else. So let's talk about the pound right now. Oh my God. So you know it's very volatile in the UK at the moment. We've just had this budget where they've increased everything for the rich people and they're taking everything again off poor people. Like I said, I don't want to get into politics, but it's very uncertain times at the moment. And you know, for the Americans, the US dollar is real strong now. To give you an idea, I looked at the currencies today, and the pound against the dollar, we used to get like $1.40, $1.35. Today, when I looked this afternoon, it was $1.09. You know, and when you look at the Thai baht, I've just checked it before I came on the stream, and it's 40 and a few satang. Okay, but you'll probably get 39 when you're in Bangkok because they take their little cut. Okay. So when I did the stream on Friday, the exchange rate for the baht was 42 point. I think it was. I've still got it here somewhere. Let's have a quick look at this. Yeah, it was 41.57 on Friday when we did the stream on, and then this morning when I looked, it was 39.76 satang. And I thought, oh, here we go again, because when I was there 3 years ago, it went down to 36. But the good news is it's not fantastic news, but when I looked this afternoon, like I say, it was 39 point whatever it was, Satang, and when I looked this evening, it was 40. So what that tells me, it's kind of going. If you look at the graphs of how the pound's gone, it's kind of like this, and then yes, it's kind of like this, yeah. And then yesterday it went right, so it has taken a hit. But then we had that budget yesterday, didn't we? So I'm going to be in Thailand in probably, it's less than 2 weeks now. Like I say, next Sunday is my last stream here. And I'm hoping it stabilizes. For me personally, if it stays at 40 or above, I can handle it. Once it gets under 40, it's a big deal, guys, because if you think about it, if last week I'd have got 42 to the pound and now I'm getting just under 40, what that means in real terms, if I stay there 3 months and I spend, let's say £5,000, that means I would lose the equivalent to 10,000 baht, wouldn't it? So, because you think, it was say it's 40, easy numbers, right? It was 42, now it's 40. It means you lose that 2 baht on the pound, times £1,000, it means 2,000, times 5 for the £5,000, there's £10,000. Well, that £10,000 will put me in a very nice hotel for a week. It will pay for lots and lots of things. But you know, you can't control it, can you? So you've just got to go with it. And you know, I just hope it stabilizes. But somebody in the stream earlier said, you know, we're all screwed. Can it get any worse? And yeah, it can get worse. I mean, like I said, it was 36 when I was there with the missus. But you know, I really hope it doesn't go that way again, because it is difficult. Right, something's just caught my eye there. Where are we? Where have I lost him? I hope not. Somebody written something about Corby. There we go. Let me put that up there. So Kev1236 says, Peter, I remember the steel plant in Corby. Exactly. I was down there in 1975, but it was different times, wasn't it? Capio, how are you doing? Good to see you. Again, you know, I was just about to go to bed. I'd had too much to drink because I wasn't doing a stream. I was feeling a bit lightheaded. I thought I'll go to bed, quick flick through. I come across yours and I'm leaving bloody comments again, thinking, oh my God, what did I leave? I'm not going to leave any comments on your stream again, really, because I just, you know, you know, you were there. But I do kind of agree with what you were saying, though. Although I'd had a bit to drink, I did listen to your response, and I don't want to bring that up here, but, you know, I do absolutely actually agree with everything you said on there. Okay. Right. MZG, is it? How long will you be in Thailand? Minimum till I was booked up for, I think it was I can't remember exactly, it was the 14th. Originally when I booked up, I was going to come back on the 3rd of November. So I was going out, it would have been 3.5 weeks, which it's okay. It's not long, but it's okay for a little holiday. And then I thought, you know what, I could actually stay out there longer. So then I booked it to mid-December now. So I'm basically, I've got the confirmation from Thai Airways that I won't be coming back for 9 weeks. It's 9 weeks, right? But what I'm going to try and do is, there's no point coming back for Christmas. You know, I said to my wife, I told you on Friday, I said, do you want me to come back for Christmas? And she said, well, it's up to you. And I said, well, I know it's my house and I can come and go as I please, but do you want me back? And she said again, well, it's up to you. And I thought, you know what, that kind of gives me my answer. So I thought, well, there's no point coming back. I wasn't here last Christmas because I'd gone away. Again, we were just doing a kind of little test thing. So yeah, in answer to your question, I'm hoping probably mid-January, which is 3 months. I hope it doesn't all go tits up with what's going on in Ukraine at the moment when I'm away. Okay, Clive, it's even worse against the peso. Yeah, I bet. I hopefully off to the Philippines in the new year or Thailand, no idea. Yeah, it's actually quite bad in Cambodia as well, because they kind of, their currency is based on the dollar. They use a dollar actually. Cambodia is all dollar. They have a local currency, but that's just for paying things like taxis and street vendors and stuff. But it is a dollar, and you know, the dollar is real high now. So if you want to buy $100, you're basically paying 100, just slightly under £100. It's a killer, you know. But like I say, if you're American, you can tap dance all the way to Thailand because you're you know, you're in a very strong position. When I looked the other day, it was $37, 37 baht to the dollar, and 39 baht to the pound. Well, that's like a 2 baht difference. I've never seen it like that. You know, it's normally something like the US dollar's like 32 baht and the pound's 44. You know, there's a big gap there. And now it's like 2 baht, you know. So, and I read an article today that the Thais are worried, the government are worried because the the Thai baht is weakening. So if their currency is weakening and we're only getting 39.40, God help us if it gets strong, because it just won't be worth going over. And in fact, if it takes a big dive, and I don't think this will happen, don't panic. But, you know, if I was there and it went down to, say, 30, which I can't ever see that happening, but if it did, I'm coming back, because it's just not worth it. It means you know, £100, 3,000 baht. And do you remember what I told you on Friday? Bob J, who's there at the moment, who I speak with every morning on WhatsApp, and he tells me what's the latest, what's going on. He told me he went into Nana and they're asking beer bar, not Goga bar, right? Beer bar, 700 baht bar fine, 3,000 short time. So if you get 3,000 baht for £100, you're talking West End prices. You know, what's the point? You might as well stay here and take up basket weaving or something. Right, James Casey, how you doing? V, transfer wise to the Pound Peak. I'm not sure what the question is there. I use TransferWise. They're great. They're very, very cheap. But yeah, I'm not. Are you asking what is the rate that TransferWise give you? Because they don't actually. Well, they don't tell you to put it through. I don't know. I don't know. Right. A nomad overseas. I'm in Manila, and for the first time ever since I've had mobile, the local alert thing went off. Woke me up this morning to let me know super typhoon is on the way. Haha. Well, I'll tell you another thing that's kind of quite shocking is all this rain in Bangkok at the moment, because you know, normally this sort of time it starts to dry up, and they're still having storms and a lot of you know, a lot of rain. You know, I was hoping by the time I get there all that will be cleared up, but apparently it's you know, it's not as bad, but they still have these downpours, you know, and then you go outside and you're wading it up to your knees, you know. Right, Red Hammer. I ordered 30,000 baht on Friday just before it crashed at 39.89. Hopefully it pick up before October 19th. I'll get the rest out there. Yeah, I'm quite lucky because I always bring baht back with me, and I think I've got about 4,000 baht upstairs. The reason I take baht back with me is because, you know, when you get off a 12-hour flight, the last thing you want to do is start running down to super rich to get the best rate. What I tend to do is I'm prepared to lose 100 baht or whatever. I'll just go to the ATM machine in the airport, take out £50, but I don't do it anymore. I found it a lot more economical and a lot more easy to bring the money back, because as long as you know you're going back to Thailand, it's not like you'll never go back again, is it? And even if you did, you can exchange the baht at your local bank. You lose a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. So I've got about 4,000 baht, and the reason I keep that money back now is because I like to buy a SIM card in the airport, and it pays for my taxi as well at Apple, and that way I don't have to mess about. I get back to the room, there's the SIM cards there, and away we go. Happy days, as they say. Okay, Spider 0064 just made a second Wise transfer in the last few days, 3,000 baht less than I got Thursday. Yeah. Okay. I'll give you a little bit of tip, and I've said this before, but it's a great tip. You know, with Wise, they do a debit card. They actually send you the bit of plastic, or you can have it online as well. And what you do, you load up that debit card. It's the ugliest debit card I've ever seen in my life. It's a luminous green. But anyway, that put to one side. If you just apply online and you get it within minutes, and they'll send it to your house. And the reason I've got it as a backup. So what I've done, I've put 50,000 baht on this Wise card, which I probably won't use. It's an emergency fund. So if something happens and my debit card gets stopped, or I can't think of something personally for me, because I've got friends in Bangkok who have Thai bank accounts, and I could transfer money from my bank account to their bank account, and they could go and get it out and give it to me. Very worst case scenario, even if I couldn't transfer money, the people I know, if I said, can I have 100,000 baht, I'll give it when I get back to the UK, they'd say, what time can you come and pick it up? You know, it is that easy. But I don't like to ask. So what I've done, I've put 50,000 baht on a Wise debit card. I've got another 2 debit cards. I'm also taking cash out with me. So, but my tip, guys, I would get one of those Wise cards, because you never know if it eats your regular debit card or whatever. You know, you put £1,000 on this Wise card and you've got backup then, haven't you? And the thing about Wise, they're less likely to block your card when you're traveling, because they know a lot of international travelers use Wise. They send money abroad. Whereas your local high street bank, they're still a little bit in the dark ages, aren't they? I still need to ring mine up and say I'm going to be away. Nick T. How you doing, Nick? Dollar reserve currency will change soon. China's plan to devalue is in full swing with Belt and Road Initiative. Okay. Oh, that's frightening. Gary Hughes. It can also get better, Peter. Yeah, that's what I said. I said, hopefully, I don't think it's going to get really bad, but it's not by next week suddenly going to jump up to 60 baht to the pound, is it? That's for sure. Capio says it will just compound the inflation as we import everything. I've never experienced inflation like this. It's not great times. Bernie, how are you doing? Just going to say hi to Bernie because Bernie's actually in Pattaya. He's actually watching this from Pattaya. He sent me a couple of emails today. Yeah, good to have you in the stream, Bernie. When you wrote to me and said, I'll see you in the stream, I thought, yeah, once you've had a few drinks, maybe not, but fair play to you. And I also want to say hi to Mike. I don't know his second name. I've just got lucky, guys, right, with this guy, with Mike. I was hoping to meet him on the bus or wherever in Thailand, but I'm sure I'll meet him one day. But Mike's got contacts with National Express coaches. Now, I've never traveled with National Express. I don't know anything about them. Andrew Hammond sold me on the idea, and I thought, well, why not? Because I normally drive down in the little Skoda, leave it in purple parking for a couple of weeks, 3 weeks. I got hammered the last time. It was there for 5 weeks. Jesus. But anyway, because I'm going for 2 to 3 months, I thought, well, I can't, the taxis around here are unreliable. If you tell it to come, 4 in the afternoon, you're lucky if it turns up at Christmas. Capio, you're gifted 5 memberships again. What's that all about? Wow. That's 15 in the last 2 weeks. You're not going to cancel them all next week, are you? Thanks. I really appreciate that. And I'm sure the guys you brought the memberships for did. Yours Travels was gifted a membership by Capio. The One Rob 88, ahoy, from Vandenberg, yeah. Leroy 420 was gifted a membership by Capio. Nick S was gifted a membership by Capio. Danish Bacon was gifted a membership by Capio. Wow. Do you know what? You're very generous, Capio. I don't know what your background is or anything. I'm not asking. I don't want to be nosy, but that is extremely generous. And I'll say thank you for the guys on here anyway. And I must get into your stream and try and not repay you, but do something nice for you because you've done this a couple of times now. So I'd like to come in. And I was looking last night, and you don't seem to be able to do any super chats or anything on yours because I did look, and I don't know. If it's a number of hours or whatever, but we don't need to talk about it on there. You can Facebook me and I'll get back to you, okay? But thanks again. Now I forgot what I was talking about. As usual, this always happens to me. Never mind, we'll talk about something else. Corporate, we should stay positive, guys. Yeah, absolutely. No talk about money because we should not care. Once we're there, always be positive. Yeah, I told you, somebody said to me today, because I was saying, oh, the pound, the way it's going, blah, blah, blah. And he said, look, at the end of the day, you're going to Thailand for 3 months. It's winter. You're going to miss all that crap and you're going to have the sun on your back. And he's right. He's right. And what's the worst that can happen? I know what I was talking about. Well, I was talking about pricing, wasn't I? Yeah. So at the moment, it seems Bangkok is just so expensive. Even if you're not a Monga, just the price of everything. And the hotels are having a rethink about their prices. Because you think about it, energy has really risen through the roof, even for Thais. And if you think about it, a 200-bedroom hotel, if it's 80% occupancy, those 80 rooms, they're going to have the aircon on all night, aren't they? That's a lot of electricity. I mean, I know my friend Simon's got 5 aircons in his house, and they only use them at night when they're sleeping. And his bill is like 12,000 baht. He's in quite a big house. So you can imagine the bill for a hotel, and they can't sustain cheap prices if they're getting huge bills. So like they say, watch this space. We don't know what's going to happen. Right, to Paradise City on a night train. Okay, you say hi to someone else there. I was a big build up there because I thought you were going to ask me a question. Mercy Pool Canado, is it? If you are nice, the Mama Sam will give you her. All right, I can't read that out. Right, yours. All cash for me, and we'll change 1,000 in Thailand. Be on the Revolt card as it's 39.89. I've got a feeling, yours. I've got a feeling by next week, I think it will stabilize. It might go back up to say 41 again. I'm just guessing. I don't know, of course. I'm just guessing. But for me, like I said to you earlier, if it's 40, then I'm quite happy with that. I remember the days when I was getting 79 baht to the pound, and a beer in a Goga bar in Nana Plaza was 20 baht. Great days, they'll never come back, and I can't sort of pretend they will. But I can handle 40 baht to the pound. Once it drops under 40, it's painful. It's very, very painful. And you realise when you give them £100 at the change booth and you get back 3,600 baht, and a bar fine is 700 baht. you know, and you're talking ladies' drinks now, 200 to 300 baht. Are you going to be buying a lot of ladies' drinks? I've bought ladies' drinks before. I'm sitting in the bar playing Connect 4, the real Connect 4. Lady comes and sits with me. I'm waiting for a friend. Why not? She's giving me her time. I'm playing the game. Buy her a drink. No sweat, right? I won't be buying any lady drinks now. Not at all. And it's not because I'm a cheap Charlie. It's just too much. You know, 200 baht, you're talking, it's £5, £5. No, I'm not doing it. Right, Terry Ball. I have a Thai bank account. When I send money from my Lloyd's bank account, I send it in English pounds, not Thai baht. You get a better exchange rate. Well, look, Terry, to be honest with you, mate, the best exchange rate you'll get is from Wise, because how they do it, they don't actually exchange your money. They'll have somebody in Thailand who wants pound notes who's coming to England, and they've got you in England. And what they do, they just swap the currencies over, and there's a small administration charge. I once sent £20,000 about 3 years ago to Thailand. No, it wasn't to a bar girl, guys. It was a business opportunity that kind of fell on its face. But anyway, I didn't lose anything, got it back. I sent £20,000 to Bangkok, and it cost me £90 with Wise. £90. If I'd have done that with Lloyd's, I'm with Lloyd's as well, and I'm with Halifax. If I'd have done that with Lloyd's, I don't know what it would have cost, but it wouldn't have cost £90. I can tell you that. You get charged handling, you get charged exchange rate this end, then you get charged an admin fee from this end, then you get charged a handling fee at the other end, plus the exchange rate at that. Oh yes, you know, Christ. James, I always bring 3 UK bank cards and 2 credit cards for backup. ATMs swallow my cards when I'm pissed many a time. The main thing you got to remember when you're in Thailand, guys, it's not like I don't know about in America, but in the UK, when you use an automatic telling machine, that's what ATM stands for, right? When you use one in the UK, it will give you your card back. A couple of seconds later, your money will come back. So we're used to that procedure. And what happens in Thailand, it spits out the money first, and then after a few seconds, you get your card. So, of course, because you're in that kind of, you're not really thinking about it, it's automatic. What happens is the money comes out. A lot of guys take the money and they walk off. Of course, the card's gone, you know. That's why the other tip I always give you, when you take money out of an ATM in Thailand, always try and do it attached to a bank. You know, like in Pattaya, you've got the Bangkok beach on the bank road. It's got an ATM there, because if you go to one at a 7-Eleven, for instance, they're perfectly safe. There are a few scams on the, I won't get into the scams, but we're talking about something else now. But if you go to, say, there's 3 outside the 7-Eleven, or you're walking down the road and there's 2, like Soi 4, where Nana is, right at the far end, there's about 6 on the street. You know, if it eats your card up, you basically got a problem. But I know people who have gone to an ATM machine in the day attached to a bank, and it's swallowed their card, and they've gone in and they've explained it to the bank, and the bank's got the card and given it back to them. So, you know, you're better off when you use an ATM, take large amounts out to last you several days, rather than try and take a little bit out each day, because there's a 220 baht charge on an ATM machine. Doesn't matter how much you take out. So you're better off taking 20, 30,000 baht out. And, you know, if you lose your card, then you can go back to the bank and hopefully retrieve it. Jody says it's a long drive to Thailand, but I actually read an article today that it will be possible to drive to Thailand. Somebody might have said this, and this might be him or her rather replying to it. Yeah, what I read, I can't remember exactly, but it's something like some new bridge road is getting developed. So in theory, you would be able to drive from Portugal all the way to Thailand, or across land, right? Because they're building some new road or some new, I don't know what it is, but you know, you could get from the UK to Portugal by road through the Channel Tunnel, everything. And then once there's some gap of water at the moment, you can't do it. But when they build this thing, whatever it was I read, you will be able to drive to Thailand. I wonder how long that would take to drive to Thailand. From here, it's 6,000 miles. And if you said on average, say 60 miles an hour because you take breaks, geez, it'd take a few weeks, wouldn't it? Right, the one Rob 88. Hello from Vandenberg. Is it Vandenberg? Yeah, Vandenberg, California. Good to see you in. I know I'm a little bit late with the chat now, but we'll keep going. David Craig, I always take National Express right to the centre of Heathrow, much better than car hire. Yeah, I was surprised. The only downside, oh, that's the story I was telling you, which I forgot. Thanks for that. Before I did the thank you to Capio. So with the National Express, I've never travelled it before, and there isn't a National Express bus station here where I live, but there is one in Northampton, 10 miles away. So I've got somebody in a taxi who's discounted me £5. Is going to take me for £25 to Northampton. Then I've paid £22 to get from the National Express bus stop at Northampton. I think it pulls into Milton Keynes, its main hub, and then it will drop me at Heathrow Terminal 2. But this guy Mike, who I said to earlier, he actually's got contacts in National Express. He said, look, send me your ticket number and I'll sort you out. I sent him my ticket number last night, and he's got me seat number 2A. Now, I've never been on a National Express bus, but apparently 2A is at the front with the most leg room, and apparently it's the best seat on the coach. So, Mike, thank you very much. I owe you one. When people say things on the stream, you don't always think, well, they'll definitely do it, but you did, so well done to you. If you just joined us, guys, welcome. We've got over 400 in now, 445. Good turnout, and quite a few guys from all different places around the world. Right, to the Paradise City on a night train. When you're good to Mama, Mama's good to you. Okay, that's a little bit more polite than the other one. Yeah, yours. That's kind of what I was thinking as well. Yeah, cheers, Capio Kidder. Yeah, I hope he doesn't go in and cancel them all next week. Brian Tim says, James Casey, all you need now is a partridge in a pear tree, but you may have trouble getting it through customs too. Okay. Any serious questions, guys? This is the thing about Sundays. It's a very casual stream. If you've got anything you want to know about, like the question about whys, hotels, travel, anything like that, this is a day to ask me, because people send me emails with a list of questions, and I think, well, I'm not a bloody tour agent. I'm not going to answer all these questions. But if people ask me here on the stream, that's what the stream's about. So if there's anything you were wondering about and you haven't been before, now's the time to ask. A Nomad Overseas says, what I can see from ST, you're going to fork out about 3k peso, but they'll try to convince you to allow their friends to join in. Okay. Right. Reginald Rutherford, that sounds very upper crust, does it? Good evening, Mr. Rutherford. Your table is ready. Right. I went to Vegas in 2007, and the Americans were moaning that there was $2 to the pound. It's changed. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I remember not so long ago where it was very popular for women to go to New York. My daughter went. My 24-year-old daughter went. But we had such a good rate against the dollar that people would fly from the UK because you got so much more than you'd get in the UK, and it'd cover your airfare. I mean, Ricky Gervais isn't my favorite comedian, but I once watched a stand-up routine of his, and he came out to an American audience, and the line he came out with was I thought it was very, very clever. So he obviously he's a British comedian, Ricky Gervais. He was doing his stint in America. I don't know whereabouts it was. He came out on stage. He said, "Hi, my name's Ricky Gervais." He says, "I come from a little place called England." He says, "You might have heard of it. We used to rule the world before you did." Very, very clever. Right, Capio, let's have a look. I turn off my super chats most of the time. We'll stick it on next week so I can, I feel a bit guilty now. You bought all these memberships. I mean, you've been in Brian Flowers. I'm not like just take. Brian Flowers, I've super chatted other people that I don't want to name here at the moment. But it's just a way of supporting your channel, isn't it? It's not about, now you can afford to go and buy a hamburger. It's supporting your channel, showing people that you like what you do. And I always advertise your channel on here. Look, I'll put you up there just so people can see your logo, because it is a bit kind of wild what you talk about, you guys, and it's very entertaining. You've got more courage than me, because some of the things you talk about, I wouldn't have the balls to kind of bring up on here. Yeah, Matt, you got begging letters now. When you win the lottery, you get the begging letters. You got Mara Capio 17. Please adopt me. I'm constantly half broke. But you're getting your Capios mixed up. That's another Capio. Right. Wayne PK. What's Thermi Cafe in Bangkok? I can't explain it really quickly. I don't want to bore everyone because everybody knows what it is. Right. There's a hotel close to Soy 11. Forget the name of it. Underneath, they've got like a massive basement bar, and it's full of Connect 4 players. And I've just heard from Bob Jerry, was in there last night. He says it's full of Koreans, full of Korean guys. And if you go to Nana Plaza, he said there are so many Korean couples. Can you believe that? Korean couples. He says they're everywhere. And he says you sit at the bar at the front, and he says you see them coming out, some of them with girls, So, but no, basically Thermi Cafe is a kind of freelancers place. It's been around since the 60s. It was located on New Petrabury Road in the 60s when the GIs had R&R from the Vietnam War. That's where the GIs first hung out, on Petrabury Road. Petrabury Road is at the other end of Soy 3. Come out of Nana, There's Soi 3. Right at the other end, the road that runs parallel, that's New Petrobras Road, and that's where all the bars used to be for the GIs. And that's where Therme Cafe used to be. And then it moved over when the bars disappeared on New Petrobras Road. It moved over to near on Soi 11. Right, let me say hello to my old drinking mate here, and which I never can get his name right. Antonio, how you doing? Hey Peter, here's one Leo for you. Cheers. I've got a few off you now, so I'll be able to get pissed. Right. Okay. Alan Hunter, hi Peter. Are the SIM card booths open 24 hours as I arrive 1 a.m. in Bangkok? That's a really good question, and I don't actually know, because generally the flights from the UK go out at I always get a night flight, so it goes out at 9:30 and it always arrives in Bangkok at 3:30 local time. There's a 6-hour time difference. After next week, they're 7 hours ahead. So I always arrive local time. If the aircraft's on time, which it normally is, I land about 3:30. By the time I get out into the arrivals hall, it's about 4:30, and it's always open. Is it open 24 hours? Guys, can anybody tell Alan Hunter that? Because I honestly don't know. It's a very good question. Okay. Right, where were we? Let's go back up. Nick S. How you doing, Nick? A plus to using Western Union is you can say what province you want the money to go to, and if the girl says she's with a sick buffalo in Isan and she's really from Pattaya, Western Union, you can think it's a fraud. Yeah. No, look, I can't big up enough Western Union. There's a link in the description. I've never made any money from it. It's one of those, if you put a link and people click on it, they give you a few pennies, and after a month you should get a few dollars. I've never had anything sent to me, but I haven't done it for the money. The reason I put the link in the description here is because I want people who don't know about it to use it, because it is a fantastic service. Like I said, there's a lot of guys who, they're not idiots, they're not mugs, they're not being scammed, but they've got friends in Thailand, girls who they know, regular friends, and they want to help them sometimes, and they're not supporting them, but sometimes it'll be a girl's birthday, a genuine birthday that they know, and they want to send them £50, a couple of thousand baht. Why not? We've all done it. I've done it, not to a girl, but I've helped other people. And the best way to do it is Western Union. That'll get straight to her account. It's fantastic. Passimo, how you doing? Didn't see you in for a while. Leave a bad review on their app and they'll reach out to you. You always give me a lot of good tips, actually. I'm going to write that down. Wise bad review. Okay, I will. I'll definitely do that. Right, thank you for that tip. Okay. Right, Randy, I got to say, I'd like to say thank you to you. Therme Cafe, the 444 bar, 4 inches, 4 minutes, 4,000 baht. Yeah, if you don't, thank you for the super chat, by the way, Randy. If you don't know what that's about, so a lot of the Thai girls, they'll call the Japanese and the Koreans the 444. It's a joke, but they'll say, I prefer to go with a 444. And you think, why do they call them 444s? 4 inches, 4 minutes, 4,000 baht. You can't say fairer than that, can you? Thanks, Randy. Okay, is it beer or clock yet? Not quite. Let's have a look. John Malin, is it? Best deals for Sims in shopping mall in Bangkok? Yeah, they are. It depends how sort of cheap you want to go or how many pennies you're trying to save. Look, the whole idea of the airport is not to get the cheapest deal, right? You've been on a 12-hour flight. You've got people you need. For me, I don't call people's phone calls. I call Line. I call WhatsApp. I check email. I don't need to make a regular phone call, but I need an active phone line, okay? As soon as I arrive, I need it for YouTube. I need it to call my friends when I'm in the airport. I'm here, I've arrived. I need to call Apple and say, I'm here, where are you? So the whole point of buying it in the airport is you've come off a 12-hour flight. They speak English. There's a plastic thing there with what package you want. I'll have that. You give them your mobile phone. They phone up the company. They speak in Thai and they do all the business, right? They take a picture of your passport. When they give you your phone back, you've got an active phone line. Easy. That's why I do it. It's not to save 10 baht, 20 baht, whatever. But if you don't want to do that, you can go to somewhere like Terminal 21. And if you go up to the very, very top floor, you've got DTAC, you've got True. True's quite good because they speak English. But I had a friend today, he said, I'm going over to Terminal 21. I want to get a new phone package. And I said, are you crazy? And he said, why? I said, it's Sunday. The Thais don't work on a Sunday. It's going to be mobbed. You're on holiday. Go on a Monday afternoon at 2:00 when it's empty. Well, not empty, but, but you don't want to be going to a mall to try and get a phone deal on a Sunday afternoon. Right. Peter, Be aware of exclusions in travel insurance. I had 100k Luma travel insurance, spent 3 days in Bangkok hospital, Pattaya, have an emergency kidney stone surgery. Luma denied coverage. You can actually fight them, you know. I'm not going to name who the person is. I've got a very, very good friend in Bangkok. His wife, she's absolutely fine now, but his wife got I don't know all the details, but I know she got a kind of some kind of a cancer, whether it is breast cancer or whatever. I don't know enough about it, but she got something serious. She went into hospital. It was something like 200,000-300,000 baht to get this rectified. He put in the insurance claim, and the insurance company said, no, sorry, not covered. Well, my friend actually fought it, went through the fine print, and he said, well, it is covered because it says here this, and it said in the end they did back down and they actually paid the claim. So if you are with an insurance company and they deny your claim, don't automatically think, oh well, you know, I've lost out there. You know, try and do something about it. I know it's a lot easier than said, but there are people in Thailand who can help you. You know, it's not a den of thieves. You know, you can seek advice. I'm the wrong person to ask, okay? But you know, Google's a great resource, and if you're I'm going to get a good insurance. I think it's good, but something might happen to me. You know, I mean, I might fall off a motorbike, and they say you're not insured because you know you're an old fart who shouldn't be on a motorbike. But you know, you can fight these things. Don't you know? There was a film out years ago, and it was about an insurance company. A fantastic film. I forget the name of it. A boy died of cancer. What was the name of the actor? He was a young lawyer. It was his first case, and their policy was deny all claims. So when somebody puts a claim in, the first thing they do is no, we deny it, we don't pay it. And then when the person, a lot of people would say, oh, they're not going to pay, and they just give up, right? So they've not lost that money. But the people who pursue it and say, well, hang on a minute, no, I've been paying this premium. It says here I'm covered. I won't paying out. A lot, they're the people who get paid, okay? The people who get the letter and say it's not covered, and they just say, oh, well, we can't do nothing about it. They're the people the insurance companies love. So, you know, it's hard work. It's not easy, but don't sit back and take it, because my friend is proof that you can actually do something about it. A lot, not all the time, a lot of the time. People assume that because they're in Thailand, if something happens to them, they can't do anything about it. And it's really not true. A lot of the time, the police will help you. I'm not talking about the tourist police, you know, they're about as, well, I'm not going to say because I'll bump into them, but you know, the regular police, you know, if you've got kind of evidence, you know, you've got a license plate number, or you've got you can get CCTV from the hotel, or you know, they will help you. The hotels help you. You know, when you go back to a hotel with a young lady, for instance, for a game of Connect 4, and they have to give their ID into reception, right? That's not only that's to protect you, really, because you know, if she steals your laptop and you come out the shower and you say, hey, my laptop's gone, they've got her details and they will call the police. They won't say, well, you know, you're a Farang and she's one of us, so we're not calling the police. You can't do nothing about it. They will call the police. They will take a report, and the police will actively go and look for her. It happened in Pattaya. Some guy went back to Germany and the girl he left behind took his motorbike and give it to a Thai boyfriend. They got it back because he went to the police and gave all the details. Right, Yoz, you're a generous man. I just ordered the new iPhone 14 Pro Max. How safe are phones in bars or walking about, or better just taking my older 11 Pro Max? Never had a phone stolen, lost on my travel. I would say, honestly, I can only give you my personal opinion, Yoz. Let me crack a beer open while I'm answering this. I would say I haven't been to Vietnam, but there's this thing in Vietnam where people snatch phones, isn't there? Where was the other place I've seen it? London's the worst place. You've got these motorbike gangs. But in answer to your question, no, I mean, I've never, the only way I've seen people have a problem with phones in Thailand, I mean, I had a friend who had it in his swimming attire. He was sunbathing, and he's decided to jump in the pool, and he forgot he had his phone in his pocket, so he ruined his phone. Obviously, if you open it up to temptation, I mean, if you leave your phone on a street, you're on the street, you put your phone on a table in a cafe, then you are taking a risk. But generally speaking, phones don't get stolen as a rule. I don't know anybody's, now I know I'm going to get a load of comments, I had my phone stolen, but generally speaking, I've never really known anybody to have their phone stolen or snatched. No, I mean, I've just got the new Samsung S22, and I'm going to take this. I've got my old S10. I'll take that as well to get text messages for banks and stuff like that. But no, don't worry about it, Yoz. You'll be fine. And thanks for the super chat. Okay, how many we got in there? Wow, nearly 500. Great turnout tonight, guys. Great turnout. Right, only in Thailand. When I get to Thailand, I want this package, True SIM, 399 baht per month, 10 megabytes, no long contract, plus 200 minutes for calls. I got one a couple of days ago at True on the second floor of, is it Maya Mall? Yeah, well, we've all got different needs, haven't we? When I go, I need their top package, because when I did my first stream in December from the hotel room, it was really pixelated, but I managed to do a stream. So I get the top package. It's only about 1,200 baht. So that's a month for a month. I got unlimited. They say it's unlimited minutes, but they seem to go, you know, really quickly. But the internet is unlimited, and that package that you've got for 400 baht, 399. I mean, 10 megabytes is fine if all you're doing is using line and watching a few videos. But it's a bit slow for me. But everybody's different, aren't they? 4K, is it 4K chill vibes? My 8-day holiday in December turned into 31 because I got COVID. Yeah, you and me both. Cost me 80,000 baht, insurance denied, liability. I fought them without a lawyer and got a settlement of 43,500, and they wouldn't cover new flights. Well done to you, really well done to you, because it just proves what I said. Okay, you didn't get the flight, you didn't get the 80,000 baht, but you got 43,500 baht, which is better than a kick in the pants, because it's £1,000. You've done well, and that is, you are proof that it is possible to fight them, not just take it laying down. Nobody goes on holiday to fight with an insurance company, but you know, you can't just lay down and take it. You've been paying all this money out, and then they just deny the claim. And there are ties that will help you. I can't give you that information here, but it's all out there on the internet, you know. Right, Kicks TV. Yoz, you will be fine in Thailand. Other sea countries, maybe not. Just got mine too decent. Yeah, Thailand is so safe. It's so safe. Yeah, you've got the scams, you know, the tuk-tuks and the bars. They will try and scam you if you've had a few to drink. But, you know, at the end of the day, London is dangerous. I wouldn't go out in London at night, but Bangkok, no problem. Cheers. Oh, very good. Right, Terry. Post Apple's phone number, please. I hope she drives late. She'll pick you up whatever time you want, mate. Let me put a banner up. I'm not going to put it up for a long time because you can pause it and come back to it. So that's the car. She's got two cars. She's got the regular Toyota. She's got this one, which is a little bit more pricey. She's just bought it. That's her mobile there, but you're better off to contact her on her line ID. There it is. There. It's Red Apple 847. And what the best way to do it is make the message very simple in English, and then put it into Google Google Translator, and then it will give you it in Thai, and then go onto Line. You can download Line onto your PC. You don't need to do it from a phone, or you can do it from your phone. And what I normally do, she does speak English, but she's not. It's like us. If we speak a bit, I speak a bit of Thai, but I can't write it. I can't read it. And it's the same for Apple. She speaks a fair bit of English, but you send her an English message, she struggles. So you can put it into Google Translate, send it in English and in Thai. And somebody sent me a message this morning saying Apple picked me up and it was great. Thanks for the tip. I think I mentioned it at the beginning of the stream. You know, I mean, lots of people have booked Apple because they just don't want to mess about with these, you know, not all taxi drivers are bad, but you know what it's like. You get in, what country you come from, you have Thai girlfriend, what team you Manchester United. It's the same bullshit every taxi ride, isn't it? You don't get that with Apple. You know, she's very pleasant. Okay. Tom Young Guy says, you used to use an ancient cracked screen 7/7 cheap phone. Do you know, I'll tell you what I used to use before I had a YouTube channel. Can I reach it from here? And I used to have a laugh with the girls. Yeah, I can. I used to have a laugh with the girls in the bar. Right, I won't show you it yet, right? This is going back about 5 years. So I used to buy what I call, you know, the burner phone. So, you know, I thought, well, you know, I drink. I don't want to lose a nice phone. And I didn't have YouTube. I didn't do too many emails. And I bought this phone, and it was simply just to make a phone for my friend to call me and say, hey, what bar are you in? Or me to call him and say, I can't find you. Where are you? And that was all it was. And if I lost it, I didn't care. And I'll show you in a minute. But what I used to do is have it in my pocket, and I'd just sit in a beer bar, and I'd say to the girls, I'd look at the phone and say, oh, that's nice, but it's not the latest one, is it? And they'd get intrigued. And I say, oh, I've got a really nice phone, and I have it in my pocket. And they say, what have you got? What have you got? And they know their phones inside out. They know the latest phone. They know the latest everything, okay? And I say, oh, I don't want to get it out in case, you know, somebody around here and, you know, wants to pinch it. And they say, what is it? And they'd reel off is it the new Apple this? Is it the new Samsung that? And I say, okay, I'll show you. And I'd look around like this, okay? And I'd get this thing out, right? And they'd nearly fall off their seats laughing. Have you ever seen a Thai girl laugh? You show her that. But look, I bought this in the MBK Centre. Look, it's got a Thai number on it. I don't use it now, so I don't care who sees the number because it's not active anymore. But you see, it's an 06 number. And I paid, I don't know for what I paid for that. It was peanuts. But, you know, it's really small. Look, you know, it fits in the pocket. If I lost it, I didn't care. I could call my friend up and say, which bar are you in? There you go. So anyway, I don't know how we got onto that subject. It was that was yours, wasn't it? Okay, let's have a look. Alex Curtin, is it? Do I need any shots before I go to Thailand? Yeah, vodka does the job. Have about 6 before. No, I've never had any, to be honest with you. Maybe I've been lucky, and I'm not advising you not to get any shots. But what I think you should take some shots. Actually, I would definitely ring up your. I think I'm immune to it now because I lived there, been there so many times. I just don't take shots before I go, and I've never sort of really got anything bad. I think what you could do is maybe just pop into your local clinic and just say, look, I'm off to Thailand. Do you recommend any shots? And they'll say, yeah, you should have malaria or whatever it is. And that way, you know, I mean, I'm not really the right guy to ask, but I can only tell you from my experience, I've not done any shots, only the alcoholic kind. Okay, Peter Dementor, is it? Used eSIM Thailand recently. No card charge necessary. Highly recommended. Okay, like I say, each to his own. Everybody has different needs, don't they? The other great thing about Thailand nowadays is every single bar, restaurant, cafe, unit, they've all got internet, and they all have something on the wall is you know, how to get onto the internet, and it's fast. It's real fast. I was in a bar in Soye. I got on their internet. There was a band. I was on my own. I was just listening to the band. I thought I'd check a few comments on my phone. I thought I'll just check the speed. I always check the speed before I get into the comments. And 800, is it gigabyte or megabytes? Can't remember. I always get them too confused. But I mean, here, what you're watching on the stream here, it's 50. I get about 52. I've got the highest I can get here, and the cable's plugged in the back, so it's not bad. But you know, it's fantastic in Thailand. The best sign I ever seen in a restaurant was in an Italian restaurant in Peterborough. I used to go there with my wife. It's a real family-run, proper Italian restaurant. You know, the tablecloths were red and white checks. You know, the wine bottles in the basket. You know, those wine bottles that they put the candles on the table, and they're kind of the bottom half is basket. A real traditional. Half of it was a shop with salami and Italian cheese, and they did real homemade, beautiful pizzas. Lovely. Used to go there every Sunday with my wife in the afternoon. Then we went to a place called Jason Hong so she could pick up some rice and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, one of the funniest signs I ever seen, sat down there one day, and above their little bar, it said, no, we don't have internet. Try having a conversation. And I thought, perfect. You know, you're coming to a restaurant. You don't want to be on your phone. You know, you should be chatting to the person you're with. Very clever. Okay, Taxi to Laos says, caught the 12:50 Bangkok London flight yesterday. Very, very slow through security and passport control. 45 minutes to clear. Well, I don't think that's really that slow, to be honest with you. You're talking at the other end, because it is getting busy now, isn't it? What I hate about airports these days is that long walk from the aircraft. Not so much when you get to Thailand, because you're pumped, aren't you? You're like, I'm here. So it doesn't matter what, you know, if you had to run through a wall of fire and then run on burning tires, you wouldn't care because you're in Thailand. But you know, when you get back to Heathrow, if you land in Heathrow, and it's such a walk, it's a long walk, you know, I mean, you go up escalators, down escalators, you know, half a mile of corridor, then up another. I mean, it's really, really long way. After a 12-hour flight, it gets the old circulation going again, though. Okay, yours travels again. James, nobody, 6 or 7 weeks. Okay. I know I'm quite behind in these comments. How am I? I'm about 7 minutes behind. So, but I'm looking for the real questions. Chandler Bing Bong, when I go to Thailand, the last thing I want to do is stare at a phone. I put mine in the safe and leave it there. Damon's the same. You know, Damon's a long time member of the channel, and he said that we've had not arguments, but let's just say lively discussions because yeah, I know where you're coming from, and Damon's exactly the same. He says, when I land, phone off, in the safe, that's it. I don't want to talk to anybody. But not everybody can do that. And I was trying to explain to Damon one day, well, several conversations, you know, some people run businesses, and although they can have a decent holiday, but they can't just turn off and say, right, that's me for a month. Because someone who's running a small to medium business, they have to read their emails. You know, I mean, they're not going to spend all day on the beach reading emails, but, you know, I know guys who go out, have got little businesses, and what they do, they'll have a day out, they'll get back to the room maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock, they'll spend 1 hour doing all their emails and everything, turn it off at 6, and then they enjoy the evening. We haven't all got the luxury of not being able to get on the internet. I mean, having a YouTube channel, I'm on it all the time, but then I love it. I love it. Right, corporate again. Spelled MacMan. Okay, MacMan, corporate MacMan. Okay, Peter is on fire tonight. Always carry 2 wallets, real one at the front. Get fake money, CC from eBay. Put the wallet in the left pocket. Yeah, I mean, you can do that. But the only time I've ever had somebody try to lift my wallet was a couple of lady boys. I was coming down from the 3rd floor in Nana Plaza, down the stairs. All the lights had been turned off, and 2 lady boys come up. And I knew they weren't going to get me. I knew straight away because they started smiling. They come up to me. First thing I do is 2 hands in the, you can't see my pockets, but both hands in my pockets. And I always have my wallet. I don't take my wallet out these days. I just take out what I need. But in those days, I used to put my wallet in my front pocket, never the back pocket. And as soon as they come, the first thing I do is put my hand in my pocket and say that's my wallet. I grab it like that and I hold it. And I could feel this lady boy. She was trying to actually get my fingers off of my wallet. You know, in the end, I pushed her, not too hard, just enough to send a message. You've got to be careful of the lady boys. I know some guys go out there and you like the lady boys. That's fine. Nothing against you and ladies boy. But a lot of the lady boys are real ruthless. And they're the ones you really need to look out for. You know, they want to pay for boob jobs. They want their Adam's apple shaved. They want, you know, all these ops and operations and tucks. And it costs a lot of money, you know, and short times alone, it takes a long time, right? So, you know, you've got to be really careful with them. And I remember years ago when I lived in Bangkok, I used to wear a little bit of jewelry, you know. I used to wear a bit of Thai gold, and I had a real nice ring here with a kind of little diamond in it. I don't know who I thought I was, but trying to be flash, you know. I was only about 32. And I remember when I used to go around the go-go bars, the ring was probably worth 50,000 baht back then, which would be probably, and it was a higher rate to the pound then. So it was probably, say £1,000, right? It's worth £1,000, this pinky ring. You know, I was just showing off. I don't wear anything these days. And, you know, I used to go around the bars. You know, the girls on the doors, they'd see it, they'd clock it, and they'd always shake my hand. And I'd shake their hand like that, really hard. I'd hold this one because they were working it. They were trying to get this ring off because they knew if they get that ring off, even if they get half the value, that's probably a year's salary for them or what, you know, a year, 6 months, whatever. So I knew, and they never got it because I knew to expect it. Right, Mark Hanley, okay. Right, just lady taxi drivers are the best. I have used a same company with only lady drivers for the last 6 years. Yeah, especially in Thailand. But, you know, I can actually vouch for Apple, you know, because what you got to be careful of, guys. She did mention one guy once. I won't mention his name because he was probably pissed. But you got to remember, she doesn't drive a taxi 12 hours a day because she can make easier money in another way, if you know what I mean. So if you do use her, you know, there's thousands of available partners in Thailand. You know, you don't want to be touching up her leg in the taxi, something like that. She'll throw you out on the expressway. She's a proper Thai woman. You know, they don't do that. Okay, let's get down here. Right, MZG, how you doing? James Casey, right, what are you saying? Yours, nice. I'm there December 6th. Might catch you. Do you know what? It's a good job I'm going to be in Thailand because there's going to be nobody on the stream. I mean, I've got just over a week now. Like I said, next Sunday is my last stream in the UK. But there's so many people come on here and say, oh, I'm going in October, I'm going in November. So a lot of people going before New Year's. And Antonio, is it worth to learn Thai in Thailand? I speak Italian, Spanish, and English, but I'm struggling with Thai. That's kind of a good one. Right, I would say this, Antonio. It depends what you're doing in Thailand. If you're going to spend a lot of time in Thailand and you're going to go out of tourist areas, then obviously being able to speak the local language is very helpful. But it is a very difficult language to learn because some words, the way you say it, there's 4 different pronunciations and they have 4 different meanings. So whether you say it with a high voice, a low voice, a static voice, it's just the same word over and over, but it means different things. Younger people pick it up easier than older guys. I've picked up quite a bit because over the years, you know, I've just picked it up, and every time I land, it all comes back to me. you know, one of the best things I've found that's helped me a lot these days is Google Translate. I've mentioned this on the stream before. I mean, the first thing I do when I get to Thailand in a hotel room, I know they supply this Lipton's tea and all that crap, but I take a proper coffee mug with me because I don't like those little piddly white cups, one mouthful and it's gone. So I take a proper mug with me and a teaspoon and not a teaspoon, just a mug, and I put coffee, you know, a bag of coffee in it and everything. The first thing I want to do is buy milk, so I've got coffee, milk for the coffee in the morning, and everyone likes a coffee in the morning, even before they go for breakfast, right? So, but I don't want milk that's got sugar in it, and a lot of the Thai products have got a lot of sugar in it, and even milk has sugar in it, and you've got to be able to, if you can't read Thai, you won't know. So what I use the translator for, I'll write into the translator in English, do you have milk that has 0 sugar? And I'll show it to the girl in 7-Eleven, and she will take me over to the fridge and pick one out the fridge. Now, I could never explain that in Thai. I can say, how much is it? Go right, go left, stop here. Do you have rice? How much is it? I can say all that like everybody else, right? But to come out with a very direct thing like that, it's very difficult. So that Google Translate helps a lot. But in answer to your question, Antonio, like anywhere in the world, if you can speak the language, you're not going to get ripped off as much, and it's going to do you a lot better. But if you're only going there for short visits, I don't think it's worth the effort, really. It is very, very difficult. And what I found with a lot of foreigners, when they can speak fluent Thai, what they do, they like to be on their phone in busy foreigner areas, speaking very, very loudly. Like, look at me, I speak Thai. The guys who speak fluent Thai, they speak at a normal level and they don't kind of show it off too much. Right, okay. Okay, to the Paradise City on a night train again. You should be okay since you can pronounce R correctly. Yeah. Is it Schlonger says burner phones used by criminals? I think they're used by everybody, aren't they? People who just want a quick, easy phone. Right, you're getting lots of advice here. Mr. Rutherford, I think we'll call you Sir Rutherford. So Mr. Rutherford, it's such an upmarket name. Antonio, learn the basics, please. Thank you. Excuse me, etc. Yeah, absolutely. The basics, you know, hello, goodbye, how much, turn left, turn right, go straight, you know, that sort of thing. How much for a game of Connect 4? Are you any good at playing? Them sort of things. Right. Nomyai Inspector. You might need some shots when you return home. Oh, yeah. Good point. Yeah, Dutch Frank says, are you talking about COVID? We can say COVID now, can't we? It's done and dusted. 1st of October, it's finished in Thailand, isn't it? They're, I know somebody there who's just caught it, actually. But yeah, you don't have to show any certificates or anything after the 1st of October. I think I've picked the right time because I'm going to get a 45-day visa exempt and I don't have to show anything at the airport. Okay. Richard says, definitely get your hepatitis booster jab. Okay, well, I've never got it. Maybe I've been lucky so far. But then I don't eat on street carts on the street, you know. 4K chili vibes, depends on the doctor. You should have hep, someone else saying now, hep A, hep B, tetanus, and say malaria. You know, but don't forget, guys, the hospitals, it's good to have preventive medicine, but worst comes to the worst, they're very good, the hospitals in Thailand. I've got sick from like food poisoning, not this sort of stuff, and it cost me pennies to get sorted. Right, Crypto Rocketeer, no way, Peter, I was praying that you would show that mobile. No way, Peter, I was praying that you would show that mobile. I have that one too, cost 10 quid, battery lasts for 2 weeks. Yeah, about 2 months, isn't it, actually? Yeah, they're brilliant. And they're so small and they slip into into your pocket. Right, Capio. I normally take a taxi, Bailey, but there is a bus direct from Bangkok Airport. Are you talking about to Pattaya? Yeah, or you can get a bus into town. The problem with the buses, people say to me, "Oh, what? You don't want to take a taxi to Pattaya? It's 1,200 baht or it's 1,000 baht, whatever. You can get a bus for 180." But you know, I go with a suitcase, a Samsonite suitcase. The reason I like to go with a Samsonite suitcase is when I go out of my hotel room, I put my laptop, electrical things, anything worth it. That my money and passport go in the safe, but anything like selfie sticks, cables, laptop, that all goes in my hard Samsonite suitcase, I lock it. I know it's virtually safe because people, you know, they walk by, they see a suitcase, that's normal, isn't it? They don't know what's in it. So when I get back to the room, if the suitcase is still there, generally speaking, I know my laptop's still there, and that's just how I roll. I don't go with backpacks, you know, and it's very difficult when you've got a suitcase. And I do have a backpack for my laptop and cables and stuff, and passport, but I always take a suitcase. It's very difficult sometimes when you've got to go on a sky train, or, you know, switch from the sky train and then go down to the underground, and then you've got to switch stations. When you've got carrying a case, it's, you know, I'd rather pay the £10 or whatever it is. Right, only in Thailand. Peter, once you have used National Express, you will never drive to London and pay the parking you will never pay the car parking charges again. Very reliable, cheap, and around every hour, Manchester to London, less than a tenner. Yeah, everybody's telling me this, everybody. And the only reason I haven't used them is because I like convenience. You know, I'm not, you know, I'm not really worried about saving a couple of pounds. You know, I'll pay if it's convenient. You know, I'd rather go around the corner to the co-op to get a bottle of milk than save 10 pence and drive all the way to Tesco's and have to walk right through a superstore, you know, and I save 10, 15p. So I don't mind. But a lot of people have said to me, you know, National Express is definitely the way to go. I wish our town was big enough to have a stop here. It isn't, unfortunately. Okay, how am I quite far behind now on these comments? Yeah, quite far, about 10 minutes. Right, I'm going to skip down to some of the newer comments and I'll work back, because otherwise people are leaving comments and it's like, you know, I'm answering them. They're probably gone to bed. Right. Okay, Vlad YKT. Hi, what bank is better to use in Thailand, Kasikorn or Krungsky? I can't pronounce that one. Okay, I can answer this actually. I would recommend two, Bangkok Bank and Kasikorn Bank, but Kasikorn Bank over Bangkok Bank for one reason and Bangkok Bank for another reason. So basically, Bangkok Bank is, you can take 30,000 baht out of the ATM of the Bangkok Bank. You can only take 20,000 out of every other one, but you don't necessarily have to have an account with a Bangkok Bank, so that doesn't really count, does it? Right, let me make it simple. I would say the Kasikorn Bank over all the others, because I know people who live in Thailand and they say that online banking is very simple, easy to use. The layout's great and it works very, very good. And you know yourselves, gone are the days where you go down to your local bank, cap in hand, and you speak to the manager or the teller with the bars and all that. That's all gone now, isn't it? Everything's done electronically. And the Kasikorn Bank apparently has got the best online platform. So I would say Kasikorn, but, you know, Bangkok also, but not such a great platform for online banking. Right, Pete Bailey. Capio, thanks, Peter. Skip my question, laugh out loud. Yes, you know, I meant Jorge. I didn't see it, Pete Bailey. I mean, I get so many. We've got nearly 500 people in, just over 436 now, and I'm getting a lot of comments in, and I haven't seen them all. Right, okay. How do I say that? RGC, is it? Bus 389 from to airport is only 143. I have used it a million times. Well, you know, Andrew Hammond, he goes with a rucksack, so he doesn't worry about suitcases, and he likes to save. You know, he does a proper packing. But for me, you know, the taxi's £10 into town. I'd rather pay the tenner. Saji, and you don't need an expensive iPhone with all the gadgets and gizmos. The thing is now, Saji, a phone is no longer a phone, is it? I mean, when I first, well, I won't say when I first got to Thailand, 30 years ago, mobile phones, right? But what did they do? You made a phone call and you sent a text. The only games you had on there was a very simple snakes and ladders and that brick game you had, and that was it. That was all a mobile phone did. But nowadays, you can do your online banking, you can watch YouTube, you can watch the latest news. They do everything. They're mini computers. Phones are no longer just phones to make a phone call. They are actually computers. So, yeah, you can take a cheap burner phone if that's all you want to do. But I couldn't live without a decent phone now, because for me, it's a portable computer. Yes, I've got a laptop, I've got a desktop, but a mobile phone, you can sit in a bar and you've got a computer with you. Right, Tony Watson. There is an app to install on the phone, speak language into phone. Oh, there's lots of them. I've got several on here. I use Google Translate because I find that one the simplest, the best. But there's another one. There's one called Speak and Translate. You can actually speak it into your phone, and it speaks it back, or it writes it back. Okay. Right, Terry. The bus schedule doesn't work for me the time I land. Okay. Well, that's something I've got to think about when I land, because somebody said to me, don't book the National Express when you're on the plane or before you come, because if your plane's delayed and you've lost your ticket, haven't you? I suppose you could change it. But what he said was when you get to Heathrow, book it from Heathrow. I guess they go every hour or so. Okay. Is it 7Z? The Wutong Life Bell Travel Service is back. I'm at their website now. 300 bahts from some airport to Pattaya. Yeah, okay. The thing is now, the airport's much closer to Pattaya. When it was the old Dong Muang, it was a lot further. John Hobson, paying £20 return Sheffield to Manchester on National Express. Yeah, because you're that's quite a way up north compared to me. Okay, so the Paradise Life night trade, the SCB Bank is good too. Okay, I've not used them. I don't know anything about them. I'll take your word for it. 4K chill vibes. I wish I could go back to Thailand this year. My holiday's starting tomorrow. Renovating my house, laugh out loud. Anyone fancy hacking down some plaster? On a serious note, I had the kind of, because I'm selling my house, I thought it would be gone by now. Obviously, it's not going to go, is it, till after New Year at the very least now. But I've always maintained my own property, painting, decorating. I've had 3 leaks. Can you believe it? I haven't had a leak for years. My own suite started leaking, and then I had a leak under the cupboard next to the washing machine. Got that all sorted out. And then the bloody other bathroom started leaking. I had to get the guy back. And of course, once you've got leaks, you have to rub everything down and paint it. And then I thought, well, I was in the mindset, I don't need to do anything because I'm selling. Why should I do it for other people? But you know what? I've started again. Like last week, I took the hood of the cooker apart, saturated in oil. I don't know how it gets so much oil, but I bought the new pipe, and I got this really good chemical from Tesco's. It's a spray. You leave it on for 3 minutes. Terrific job. But I wouldn't have done that normally. But what you're saying, okay, the thing is, when you go on holiday, it's all done, don't you? It's not like you got to come back and do it. Right. We're going the other way, aren't we? Let's have a look. Mazza, cheers everyone. Cold Kronenberg for me tonight. Yeah, I'm on the coffee now. Look. Oh, that's strong coffee. Good evening, Peter from Stephen Pace. Andy Holmes. Hello, Peter. Great stream. Good luck for Thailand. I should be there in December. All depends on how my redundancy goes. Okay, so hopefully you'll get a nice little package from that. You'll need it for the prices these days. Right, Hamish. Is there an electronic device to speak to and it automatically translate? Yeah, absolutely. That's the one I said. I think this one, I can't remember because I installed it and used it once. So I thought I'll get into it in Thailand. It's called Speak and Translate. You can download it to your mobile, and it'll it'll do what you. I think it'll speak. Yeah, and if not, just go onto Google and put which which translator app will speak it back. There'll be loads. There's loads of everything now, isn't there? Yours again. Just checked, and my travel lodge SUK 11 is 11-minute walk to Nana Plaza and 18 to Cowboy. You're on Sukhumvit Soy 11. Yeah, you're on the wrong side for Nana though. So what I suggest, if you're on Sukhumvit 11, yours, go over on the Nana station, because the Nana train station is actually at the end of Soy 8, not Nana, although it's called Nana. So if you're in Soy 11, come out of Soy 11, go up the escalator as if you're going to take the train. And if you go left, you would take the train, but you can just walk straight over and come down, and then turn right, and you just walk straight down to Nana Plaza. But you're actually on the best side of Sukhumvit for the restaurants and bars. It's only Nana Plaza because Soy 5/1, Soy 7/1, Soy 5, you've got a whole bunch of new bars, and you've got the beer garden there as well. Who's that on my CCTV? Bit late for a delivery. My daughter, she's celebrating. I think she is. She's celebrating crashing the car into the fence with some food by the looks of it. Oh well. If it's pizza, hopefully she'll leave me a slice. Right, Damon. Phones are banned as well in Thailand from. Yeah, well, I won't be going then, Damon. Yeah, I don't believe that for a minute. Nobody will be going. James Casey, I was going to offer Peter a lift to the bus station as it's just a few miles away from me, but I don't want to think I'm some. No, that's very nice, James. That's very nice of you. I wish I knew that before. I don't like to take advantage of people over friendship or anything like that. I mean, if you said to me, look, I'm going on the same day, or I'm going to Northampton, do you want to lift? I would have took you up on it. But I did some driving for the local authority. I used to drive a minibus, and I used to pick up these disadvantaged children just 2 hours a day. So I got a license. It's a taxi technically, but it's a minibus. It's not a black cab, it is a minibus. And so I know a few people in the trade, and a guy who lives around the corner here, the going rate to Northampton is £30 in a taxi now. And I run his website for him, and diesel is expensive now. I didn't really expect any discount, but I said, what are you going to charge me? He said, well, it's £30, but I'll do it for 25 for you, diesel. I said, yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it. So I've sorted it out with him. But it's just ironic, isn't it? It's going to cost me £25 to get to Northampton and £22 to Heathrow on the bus. But I think I'll video it. I'll do a video. When in December I did a video. Hi guys, I had this seatbelt over me. I was in the car. I'm going to Thailand after 2 years. I think I'll do another one in the same sort of style and film the National Express bus and the whole thing. And if it's boring and you don't want to watch it, okay, you can watch something else. But there might be some people who want to watch it, see what it's like. Mark Saunders says, hi Peter. So what's your plan in Thailand? You staying just in Bangkok or visiting other places? Good question. Well, good question, really, because now I'm kind of thinking I want to stay away from Bangkok as much as I can. I've got to base myself basically in Bangkok, okay, because I'm going to be doing a lot of YouTube videos. Not quite sure what yet, but obviously I'll be spidering my way out. So I'll be going to Hua Hin, Chatham, booked to go to Pattaya. I want to do Rayong. I'll probably go to Buriram to visit Damien. He's up there with his girlfriend later on in the trip. And I might even take a trip to Khon Kaen, where I first used to work in Thailand. But in answer to your question, I only know the first kind of 2 weeks. And I'm booked, when I arrive, I'm booked for 4 nights on Sukhumvit. And then I'm booked for 6 nights in Pattaya. And then I'm not sure what I'm going to do after that. What I might do, I was thinking about after Pattaya going to Hua Hin, but what I might do, and I'm very tempted to do this, because I've never actually stayed in Jomtien before. And I know there are videos on Jomtien, a lot, but I've got my own ideas to do other videos for a bit of an older crowd, my age. And I've got some ideas, and I don't think too many of them have been done. So what I might do, I was planning after 6 nights in Pattaya, I was going to go back to Bangkok for a few nights and maybe go to Hua Hin. But what I might do is I might leave Pattaya, main part of Pattaya where I'm staying, and then cross over to Jomtien and book into a hotel in Jomtien for 3 or 4 nights and do some filming over there. So my dance card is still open. It's nothing's etched in stone except the first sort of week or two. Mark Hanley says, my mum has 10 burner phones. I should be concerned. Yeah, don't look in the cellar, Mark. Kicks TV, if you learn Thai, they will speak Isan anyway. Yeah, good point. That is a good point, actually. I know you're joking, but I know a lot of the girls in the bars, once they know you speak Thai, they start speaking Khmer because, it's the same kind of region and they got a local dialect. So even if you speak really good Thai, they can still trip you up and speak Khmer. The best thing is if you can speak Thai, don't tell them you speak Thai, because as soon as you go into it, most of the guys I know who speak fluent Thai, they don't speak Thai in the bars, because when you go into a bar, go-go bar or beer bar, and you start speaking in Thai, straight away, the girl's there to make money. She's going to think, probably got a Thai wife. He knows he's been here a long time. He knows people, don't want to know him. You go in and start speaking English like you've just landed, you'll get the same service as, Joe Tourist, as it were. You'll be treated exactly the same. But where you win is you can listen to their little conversations with each other, and you'd be amazed what they talk about while they're next to you. Yeah, Tom Young Guy says learn Hong Nam. Yeah, that's toilet basically. You want to learn Leo Sai, Leo Kwa, because that means, is it left, is it right? Tom, yeah, good point. Right. The Wutong Life, a lot of comments from you tonight. When you're retired, you have a lot of time on your hands to learn Thai or language. That's another point. If you do go to Thailand retired, find something to do, or you will end up in the bars becoming an alcoholic. David Halpin, is it? Peter, I have been going to Thailand for many years. I'm seriously thinking of moving there. What's the best of advice you can give to me, as you have lived there a few times? Honestly, the best advice I can give you is don't live in Bangkok, because it's very, very expensive. Okay, try to live in a nice. a nice area. There's a lot of guys live in Pattaya, and some of them they know how to, they can live there and they can deal with it. But I've seen guys move to Pattaya, retired, and the whole scene just eats them alive, and they end up going back to their own country with a tail between their legs because they've burnt out, or the girlfriend's stolen money, something like that. What I'd say to you, if you're going out there to retire, I don't know what your background I don't know your background as far as visits out there. If you haven't been out there for too long, what I would say is do a practice run, go out for 2 months, and just pretend that you're actually retired already. So, you know, when we go out there on vacation, holiday, what you'll do, you'll be in the bars, you'll be spending, you're not looking at prices, you've got holiday money with you, so you're 2-week millionaire. But when you go out there for a couple of months, you can practice. You just say, right, okay, I'm living here, so I'm only going to go out 3 nights a week. I'm going to try and find bars that do happy hours. I'm not going to pay expensive ladies' drinks. I'm going to try and find stuff to do in the daytime and practice being an expat, you know, and see how you get on. That's one bit of advice. The other bit of advice I'd give you is there are guys who live in Isan up north, and it is cheap as chips, but it's not for everybody. In fact, it's not for most people. You know, there's not a lot going on up there. It's a beautiful part of the world, Isan. There's 4 major cities. It's not, you know, people think of Isan, they think, you know, straw hats and farms. I mean, it's a happening place. But a lot of people prefer beach towns. I prefer a beach town myself. I wouldn't live in Isan. I don't mind living in Hua Hin, Jump Tien, Rayong, somewhere like that. But what I'd say is do your research. There's lots of videos on YouTube. And the most important thing I'd say to you, whatever you're budgeting, put a third on top of it. And don't forget to budget in your visas, your health plan, eventualities, emergencies like a flight ticket back home if one of your family members pass away and you need to go to the funeral. You know, don't watch videos that say, hey, I live in Thailand on $700 a month and I'm having a whale of a time, because they're bullshit. They're not. There's no way. And if they are there on that much money, they're not living, they're surviving, existing. That's not why you go on the other side of the world. No, just what I would say, best bit of advice I'd say to you is just do your research, visit a few places, get the vibe, see what feels good. For me, Hua Hin feels good. I like it there. It's not for everybody. It's a bit boring for some people, but you'll know, you'll go to a town, you'll think, yeah, I like it here. This is nice. It's got a bit of everything. And you'll get a cheaper apartment and a nicer place to live. If you live in Bangkok, of course, it's a cosmopolitan city. It's got everything you could ever want. And you will need to travel to Bangkok from time to time. You know, visa runs. You know, there's always a reason to go to Bangkok. But it's quite dirty, the pollution, and it's very, very expensive, you know. So I hope that's helped you out. Seven Zen says, even if they don't add sugar to milk, milk naturally has sugar. Yeah, that's fine. That's okay. It's like saying, well, you shouldn't eat apples because they naturally have sugar. You shouldn't eat bananas because they have a lot of sugar. They do. Of course they do. But what I'm trying to get away from is the white cane sugar that sticks to your body, your fat. It's what produces the fat. You know, fruit, a lot of natural foods have sugar, but it's a natural sugar, isn't it? And although sugar's not entirely great for you, I'm trying to get away from the processed cane sugar, the white sugar. That's what I'm trying to get away from. So if I can buy a bottle of milk that's just naturally sweetened, as opposed to it's had 3 tablespoons of cane sugar put into it, I would prefer to get that one. And that's kind of what I was trying to get at. Okay. David Halpin, is it Peter? I've been going to Thailand. Oh, I've just read that one. Let's get back down to some new ones here. If I've missed any comments, guys, as always, apologies. They're coming in so quickly. And what I'd say, if it's a question you really want an answer, just keep pumping it out and I'll pick it up eventually. Okay, there's another good point there. So the Wutong Life says, Bolt is the Thai version of Uber. Yeah, guys, in the old days, taxis were a bloody nightmare, you know. You still have to jump in them on the road sometimes. You don't have to, but it's convenient. But, you know, use Grab, use Bolt. Bolt is slightly cheaper. For some reason, I prefer Grab, and I can't give you the reason why. I don't know. I've got the Grab app. I use Grab for food. I order my taxis through Grab. I don't know the reason. People have said to me, you should use Bolt, it's cheaper, but I never have. But it's great because you can live in places you couldn't live in before. I'll give you an example. I had a friend who lived in Soi 38. I stayed with him for a while. Then I moved out and I got my own place around the corner, which was real nice, a real quiet street, okay? No taxis, no motorbike taxis. When I used to go out at night, it was a bloody nightmare because I used to have to walk for 15 minutes to get to the main road to flag down a taxi. But the great thing now is, of course, you can just go on to Grab, put where you want to go. It can see where you are. It will tell you the registration, the guy's name, how much it's going to cost. You know, it's brilliant, brilliant. Use them apps, guys. And I would definitely do some research on apps before you go. Just put into Google what are good apps to have in Thailand. Great. Okay, Kicks TV again says, yeah, that will be fine. But okay, talk to someone else. Right. Can you pay cash on Grab? I'm just trying to think if yeah, you can. I prefer to pay cash actually, because when you book it, it will say your journey is going to be 50 baht, 55 baht. You know, how do you want to pay? And I always put cash because I like to give the driver 20 baht or something. You know, those guys, they're not all rip-off merchants. And the thing about the Grab taxis, they're not the Toyota taxis. Most of them are private cars. You know, I've been picked up in a Honda Civic. You know, it's coming down and it gives you the registration. You look, I mean, that can't be my taxi, surely. It's a black Honda Civic. And there's a young guy there with a ponytail, you know, and you get in and they're so much nicer than the regular taxi drivers. You know, they're not, you know what taxi drivers are like in Bangkok? The guys who drive for Grab and they're just regular guys, you know, they're the kind of guys, I guess they work and they do a bit of sideline for Grab and they don't tend to rip you off. And I like to tip in Bangkok. It's a kind of culture. And if it quotes me, you know, if the journey quotes me, I don't know, 45 baht, I'll give the guy 70 baht. I don't mind. I mean, think about it. How much is it? It's a pound, 50 pence, you know. Okay, I put that up there. I don't know what that's all about, young Damien, but I'm sure there is a bit of message behind there. Right, well, let's read one of his out. In Bangkok, I got a boat taxi and it was 105 baht. At the end of the ride, he tried to charge me 188 baht. I laughed in his face and gave him 110 baht. Well, I don't know. I've never had a Grab taxi try and rip me off. What they tend to do is try and chat you up. And what I mean by that is they're like, hello, sir, how are you? How long you stay you like Thailand, blah, blah, blah. And they're very pleasant, you know, and they're doing a good job. And you think, well, he's a nice guy. I'll give him a tip, you know. Yeah, absolutely. Big C, is it worth having a look at Dr. Berg's videos for weight loss and food advice? I'm actually subscribed to Dr. Berg and I like his style. His videos aren't too long and he tells you everything to do about healthy lifestyle. And if you look at the guy, he must be about 50. He's got white in his beard and he looks like stunning for his age. I'm not that way inclined, you know, I'm not saying like that, but he looks very, very well, very good. And I don't watch all his videos. I am a subscriber. But now and again, I'll get notifications. If it's something that interests me, then, you know, I will look at it. But yeah, absolutely. It's very good. There's a lot of people trying to jump on the bandwagon and copy his style now, isn't there? But I think he's the, you know, he's a master, as it were. Okay. Terry says, exactly, Peter. This is my first trip just to feel it out. Yeah, don't rush into anything, Terry. And watch a lot of videos on YouTube. Don't get worried. I've mentioned this in next week's stories. You know, when you read 20 scams in Thailand, I said this on Friday. I don't want to be repetitive, but real quick, right? I did say, when you watch these videos, 20 scams in Thailand, I've had guys write to me and say, oh, I was thinking of going to Thailand. I'm scared to death. There's no way I'm going to go to a land of scammers. And I write them long emails and say, hey, guy, look, you know, this is the worst of the worst. It's a fantastic place. It's a great culture, great people. Just keep your sensible head on and you'll have a good time. Don't let it put you off. Because one, we have to make videos about something, right? And two, it does happen. But, you know, like I keep saying to you, London is a lawless city. You wear a nice watch in London, you drive a car down the road, they take a hammer, they drive mopeds, they take a hammer out their jacket. In broad daylight, they smash your window and they'll grab the watch. You know, so many rich people in London have had their watches taken. You know, you go onto YouTube, you see videos of these moped gangs in broad daylight. You know, they just overwhelm a shop. They'll go into a jeweler's shop with hammers, smash all the glass and just help themselves. And everybody stood there watching it. You know, there's no one to stop them. You know, they do what they want. Lawless, absolutely lawless. Got a bit carried away there, didn't I? Right, yours again. I'm on a real strict diet now. No alcohol for 5 weeks. Got 2 stone off if I can. Fruit and veg and water. Yeah, well done, yours. I will say this. When I lost 25 kilos, I didn't stop drinking. I've stopped smoking. I went on a real harsh regime. Is that how you say it? I was walking 5 miles a day every day because it was summertime. I always walk 3.5 miles anyway with Benji, half an hour in the morning, half an hour in the evening. But I lost 20. My goal was 25. I lost 23 kilos. There's a video how I did it on my channel. But the thing is, people used to say to me, leave that beer alone and the pounds will drop off you. And yeah, they're probably right. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be a priest. Okay, I wanted to lose weight for health. I know smoking's really bad for me. It'll kill me. Alcohol could kill me, but I don't drink in the day. So my body's built up a bit of a tolerance for it. But what I would say, if you give up everything, it's so difficult. And you're more likely to fail the more things you give up. So if you stop eating, treat yourself to a little drink now and again if you like a drink. You can drink wine, can't you? But the problem is wine, I drink it like beer and I get pissed in about half an hour. Franco, back with us. I'm still here watching you lot from Belgium. I hope I don't find that... okay, we're not mentioning him anymore, Franco, because I found out today something a little bit sad with his health. So for everything, we'll just leave that out. But yeah, if you don't know, Franco's gone to Belgium. You know, he does a little bit of roadieing. Not roadieing, that's the wrong word. He drives a HGV and he takes all the band's lighting and you know, all the equipment in the back. And he's out there for 2.5 months now. But he's still on the case, as is Damien. Okay, Pete Bailey. A few years ago, we always found most of the taxi drivers were from Isan, same as my wifey, so they get chatting, often found they were from the same province. We'll definitely try Bolt and Grab this time. Absolutely, mate, absolutely. And the other thing that you haven't mentioned, but it's absolutely true, I wonder why my bum was a bit sticky tonight. I didn't put the towel on here. Too much information. The other thing, what you got to remember, Thais like to help each other out a lot, you know, and you're the rich foreigner, aren't you? So if you get a girl you're taking from a bar and she's from a province in Isan, you'll often find her and the driver will be talking because he'll be from the same region, you know, and he might, I know that sometimes they'll drop a comment and say, oh, can you ask him, you know, I've got a wife and kids, can you ask him to give me a nice tip, you know, and she'll be saying to her, yeah, don't worry, we'll look after you. You know, I've been sitting in the front seat of a taxi with a friend in the back with his girlfriend or girl he's got from a bar, and he's got his money out to pay. How much is it? 60 baht. And she went with 100 baht and said, give him 100. He worked hard. He good man. You know, what are you going to say? You know, okay. So Rutherford again. I walk 3 to 5 miles each evening, depending on what pub I go to. Yeah, absolutely. I don't go out to pubs myself in the UK. I save my money for Thailand now. Right, Damon, I used Bolt a lot this month in Thailand as the weather didn't stop raining and the taxi scooters disappeared in heavy rain. Yeah, I think we're all agreed now, guys. Bolt and Grab, they're a great service. You know, you still find yourself jumping in a taxi sometimes. What used to pee me off is I'd come out of Nana Plaza and I thought, oh, I always like to walk back from Soy Cowboy to Nana at night. The walk of shame down Sukhumvit. Everything comes out. It's like a zombie film, isn't it? Lady boys, you know, women from Africa and Thais and everything. And, you know, they're all grabbing your arm and touching your backside. It's a walk of shame all the way. And I used to like the walk back, but sometimes I'd come out of Nana, you know, you're all dressed nice. You've got the old Spice down the front of your drawers there. And you think, I'm going to go down to the Tilak bar in Long Gun and have a good night. Well, you don't want to get all sweaty, do you? So you come out and you don't want to sort of hang around for a grab because you're pumping, you're ready. You just had a beer, ready to go, cross the road, flag a taxi down. And, you know, 100 baht, 80. I'm like, no. You know, so it still happens. The worst taxis and tuk-tuks in Bangkok are actually at the end of Pat Pong. Doesn't matter what end you come out. You come out the Silom end or the other end. Them guys are gangsters, you know. You don't want to get in a taxi at Pat Pong. The best way is take the train. Saladang. There's a station just up the road from Pat Pong. And if the trains are finished, when you come out of Pat Pong and there's taxi and tuk-tuk, just tell Mao, walk up the road 100 meters and wait at the side of the road. And when one's coming along, just flag him down and much better. Those gangsters outside Pat Pong, you get in one of them, you'll know about it. Right, let's get someone new on here. Aya Manon says it. Your girl will often encourage big tips because you give your face if you tip more. Yeah, absolutely. Sheila, you're still here, right? Okay. The MRT and the BTS aren't too bad. In May, even in the heart of MRT, had aircon and it was better than the London Tube. The ticket machines are in English in too. Yeah, the only problem with the MRT and the BTS is a lot of guys who go out, and you're absolutely right, but I'm not disagreeing with you, but a lot of guys who go out at night, they don't go home before midnight, and a lot of these services, they end at midnight. So, you know, somebody who gets a train in from, say, On Nut, and it'll cost him 35 baht, and he has to get a taxi back and it'll cost him 70 baht because it's at night. So the only downside, they're very, very good. The BTS and the MRT, great way to get around Bangkok, but they shut down at midnight. And if you're out after that, you will have to get a taxi. The only other thing I'd say on that, without wanting to, I'm not like being Mr. Patriotic defending England, but what I would say is the London Tube. I mean, it's very, very old. All these BTSs, it's like in Singapore, the underground system. I forget what it's called, but it's fantastic. You don't see any dirt. Everything's efficient. It works fantastic. You get on the London Underground, you're thinking, is a train going to stay on the tracks? You've got these round tubes, literally tubes where the train goes through. But what you got to remember about the London Underground, it's over 100 years old. The first London Underground, the trains were pulled by horses. Did you know that? There was no mechanical way to get the train. It was a very short system, but they had horses and a carriage, and they went through the underground. After that, they introduced history lesson here. They introduced steam, steam trains, and the pollution was terrible. They had air vents throughout London, and you'll find still to this day, you'll have a street, and it looks like a normal street, but two of the houses, there's nothing behind the front wall. It's a facade because there's an air vent behind there. Because when they had smoke coming out the train, they had to vent them, but they didn't want the street to look out of place. So, in defence of the good old London Underground, mind the gap. All I'd say there, it is the very first one in the world. It's over 100 years old. It's still going strong. They are making improvements all the time. But you're right. It's much nicer to take the MLT in Bangkok. But there you go. What can I say? Right, Matthew. Yours Travels. Good luck, guys. I put on a lot in the past few years too. It's eating late, drinking, and I have a sweet tooth. Basically, all the things you're not supposed to do. Yeah, you know what? And the problem is in the UK, with everything that's going on, it's so easy to have a few beers in the evening, and this is my biggest problem. Why I put a bit of weight on, and I'm really looking forward to getting to Thailand and shedding it again. And that is being still married. My wife being a Korean, doesn't matter what arguments we have or whatever. We're not at each other's throats. We're still communicating. We're still friends. But if you know anything about Asian women, there's no such thing as an empty larder. The fridges are packed. You can't close the door on our fridges, so much in there. The cupboards are packed. And I'll say to her, look, don't buy any of this. Don't buy any of that. Yeah. I look in the cupboard and it's all there. I say, I told you not to buy this. Oh, we might have it. And I'm like, you won't eat it. She'll bring back 8 packets of discounted Danish pastries. And late at night, you've had a few beers. It's 11 o'clock at night and you're looking at them and they're kind of saying, come on, daddy, eat me. You really want to eat me. Don't go to bed. Have one at least. And you're looking at it. And at 8 o'clock, I look at it and I think, right, whatever it is, I'm not having one of them Danish, okay? It's full of sugar. I don't want it. Come 11 o'clock when I've had 3 beers, I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, sod it. And I don't eat one, I eat the whole bloody packet, 2 of them. And this is a problem in the UK. Food is so available, isn't it? And if you're married to an Asian woman, any Asian woman, their Asian women want to make sure their man is fed. The man is fed. You tell her, don't buy this, she'll buy it, and the cupboards will be full. Right, Damon. Peter, my favorite video you did on your travels last time, and I thought you were going to talk about what we were talking about tonight, Damon. I thought, no, surely you're not going to bring that up. Right, Peter, my favorite video you did on your travels last time in Thailand was the railway station with Simon. It was very, no, not the railway station. It was very interesting and emotional, great video. Do you know what really gets me down is some of the videos that I do that I really enjoy and I'm proud of them. And I look at them, I think I did a good job on that video. I like that. And they don't get the viewings because maybe it's just this channel with what I do. What Damon's talking about is I did the bridge on the River Kwai. You all know the famous film Bridge on the River Kwai, right? But I did one better than that. I went to Hellfire Pass, which is 80 kilometers away, which is where they dug through the mountains, and I got some great footage. So I mixed some old shots in with some new shots. That's in Kanchanaburi. I can never say it, Kanchanaburi. I can't pronounce that. You know what I mean, hopefully. So them sort of videos, they don't get the same viewing amounts as the stories do, for instance. Like I'll put a story, the one I put up today, it's done about 7,000. I think it's done about 7,000. Let me just check quickly. Yeah, right. I put this stories up this morning. It's done 7,708 viewings in a matter of hours, isn't it? Probably about 12 hours now, 7,000. By tomorrow, that number will be up to 10,000. And then in a month, that'll go up to somewhere between 15 and 20,000 viewings, right? But I did the Bridge on the River Kwai video, which I was very proud of. There was a lot of research went into it. We traveled hundreds of miles to go and visit it. We stayed in a hotel down there, but it's had 10,000 viewings in its lifetime. I did another one about an old disused American airfield, which is 4 miles from my house. I didn't have to research it because I know all the details about it. It's called Grafton Underwood. Very, very proud of that video. I think it came out extremely good. I mixed in old black and white photographs with a new, stood in the same spots. Really proud of it. Did it about a year ago. 2,500 viewings. You know, so that's, you know, the problem is, I suppose if I'd have put it on a channel that deals with World War II, that sort of thing, maybe it'd have got the numbers. You know, I've got it on a channel called Thailand Bound. Yeah. But, you know, every now and again, you feel like doing something different. And I actually, you know, people come on here, high mongers and all the rest of it. And really, guys, I enjoy doing videos like Bridge on the River Kwai, the Grafton Underwood one, but they just don't get the numbers, you know. Right, Rob, how are you, Mr. Handsome Man? You're talking about Linster Gardens, the house next to, okay, you know London, don't you? The house next to Blakemore Hotel, Peter. It looks like a house, but when you look closer, the windows and doors are painted. Yeah, I don't know where it is, but I watch these kind of documentaries, Rob. That's Rob there. He was my guest. Was it last week? It was last week, wasn't it? Yeah, you're right. And I watched that documentary about, I'm not a train buff as such, but I watch any interesting documentary. And there was a documentary about the train system in London. That's how I know the Underground was 100 years and everything. And they showed you that street. And what they had to do was knock down a couple of houses or make a gap because they had to vent all this pollution out of the Underground. But it made the street look awful. So they built a facade, didn't they? And where you're talking about, that's the place I mean. And that was probably on the documentary. You're right. You look at it, and if you go and buy in a car real quick, you look, it's like a normal street. But of course, when you look closely, like you say, the windows are painted, and it's just a film set, basically. But good to see you in the stream, Rob, again. Okay, Nick S. Always remember Jerry Springer gets more views than PBS. Yeah, and the other thing is sex sells, doesn't it? There's a girl in Pattaya. She's got a channel, and all she does, I'm not knocking her. She's great, nice little girl. And what she does, she's got a lot of friends about the same age, and they'll do a video called playing volleyball on the beach, and she'll get 10 of these, like, I don't know if they're bar girls or whatever, but they wear bikinis, they put a little net up and they play volleyball, and of course the camera always happens to catch the wobbly bits, right? Well, she's got over 100,000 subscribers, and you know, it's true, sex sells, absolutely it does. Right, Mac Ty, how are you? I enjoy those types of videos, Peter. Yeah, thanks, Mac Ty. There are people who do enjoy them. They're right, and they say, I find the Americans like those sort of videos. You know, anything World War II, American presence in the UK, you know, the Americans in Northamptonshire, Second World War, all that sort of thing. The Americans love it, and they like to get history. You know, they've all had grandfathers here and that sort of thing. And I get a lot of emails and comments from Americans asking me questions, you know, when you're going to do the next one. But of course, I'm not going to do the next one. It just happens that airfield is only 4 miles from my house. So I know it back to front. Mazza says, Peter, I really enjoyed the Grafton Underwood video you made because I'm interested in anything World War II. It's also not far from me. I mean, really, Mazza, where you live pretty close to me, do you then? You might have mentioned it before, but you know what my memory's like. Michael, I'm kind of being a bit sporadic with the comments. So if you're looking at what I'm reading out and thinking he's coming to mind, I might not, because I'm kind of going back like this, because I'm trying to like get a bit of everything, you know, because a lot of comments coming in now, still well over 400 in. Right, Michael Macken, is it? Speaking of weight, can you purchase large size clothing in Bangkok, Pattaya, as the average Thais don't need large size? Do you know one of the phases I absolutely hate when I go to Thailand is free size, sir, fit all. And we know clothes don't fit all, you know. The Thais, a lot of the time, you go to a market, you say, have you got extra large? They say, oh, free size. And you're thinking, what the bloody hell is free size? And it's like, fit everybody, sir, fits everybody. And you think, no, it doesn't. Because look at that little Thai guy there with a 28-inch waist, and look at him with a 60-inch waist. It's not going to fit them both, right? So seriously, in answer to your question, it's very, very difficult. This is a problem I'm going to have because I'm a big guy. I'm 6'1", and I'm quite big build as well. And it is, I'll be honest, it is very difficult to get large clothes. It isn't difficult to get things like shorts, casual T-shirts, things like that. What I would suggest to you, if you want some nice clothes, get them tailored. You know, they can make them for you. There's plenty of Indian tailors, good Indian tailors. I'm not talking about on Sukhumvit Road where they'll rip you a new one. You know, find out from other expats where there's a decent tailor who will look after you. They won't rip you off. You know, you can get nice short sleeve shirts made out there. I mean, they quoted me $100 for one shirt. in a tailor's next to Nana Plaza around the corner. What do you expect? I only went in out of interest to see what they'd say, but that was way over the top. And if you go into a tailor's and they quote you in dollars, walk out. You know, I went into a tailor's once. I said, how much for this suit? Gets his calculator out and he said, oh, that'll be about $100, son. I said, why are you talking to me in dollars? This is Thailand, you know. But in answer to your question, the one place I know where you can get a few bits and pieces is the MBK Centre. I can't remember which floor, but it's one of the upper floors. On the top floor, they've got a food court, and I think it's the one below there. It's called the Big Man Shop, and they do trousers that you could go camping in. You really could. I mean, you hold them up and you think, well, that's a 2-berth tent he's selling me here. But you can get regular size for our sort of size. That's the only place I know. But I'm sure if you went into Google and did a lot of research, I'm sure there's probably a few places now. Because, you know, to be fair, the Thais are getting bigger. I remember back in the 90s, you never seen a fat Thai ever. You know, they were all very slim and petite. And something they used to do, if you were a little bit overweight, they used to come and rub your stomach, because it was folklore that if you were fat, the reason you were fat is because you were wealthy. And the reason you were fat is because you could afford to eat good food. That's why you were fat. That was a mentality back then. So if you went into a bar and you had a podge on you, they'd come and rub your stomach because they thought it was good luck because you were a rich man. Oh, that's out the window now. Good old days. Very charming Thailand was back then. Now they'll just, you go into the same bar. So just, can you leave your wallet there, sir? Come back in half an hour. We promise your wallet will still be there. And it will be, but there'll be nothing left in it. Only in Thailand. I watched a YouTube video called How to Make a Bowl of Cornflakes, had more than 500,000 views. It's amazing, isn't it? It is absolutely amazing. There's no other words. And I do believe you. I once come across a YouTube channel that had 2 million viewers. 2 million. And do you know what it was about? Well, of course you don't, because I haven't mentioned it. It was a guy, he read manuals. That's all he did. I swear to God, he'd read a manual. So I've got a Canon scanner here. So there's my Canon my scanner. Let's pretend these are the instructions. So the guy will come on and say, right, guys, today's video, we're going to discuss the operating instructions for the Canon S21/BYZ. Okay, first step, what you get when you unwrap the box. And he'll read this bloody manual out. And next week, it's like, it's a Black & Decker saw. Make sure you don't throw, and he reads it. Oh, God almighty. And I do get a bit cheesed. I'm not a person who gets jealous, but I get a bit kind of like, look at the work I put into my channel, and I'm glad of what I got. But you look at this guy reading manuals, you think you've got 2 million subscribers. Right, let me just say thank you to somebody. Richard, I'm not a whinger, guys. I'm just saying, you know. Right, Richard, thank you, mate. You do that every week, and I don't know what else to say, but I appreciate it. I really do, honestly. Nick, my ex-mom used to rub my stomach, and I now know why. Were you a wealthy man then, Nick? Ben Dover, how are you doing? Making food in the countryside of Azerbaijan, relaxing, great scenery, 4.5 million. Oh, well, I think they deserve it. You know, some of the food channels, they are very, very good. Do you know, I'll tell you what I watch. It's really weird. Let me just have another slurp on this. I'm going to pour another. 2 hours now, guys. No competitions, nothing. I think I can keep it going for a while longer. It won't be a long one. Get the t-shirt. It won't be a long one. I much prefer these streams starting at 8 o'clock, because when I finish, I can go and watch a bit of Netflix before I just get totally pissed and hungover. And I thought, what the hell am I doing? 4 or 5 hour streams. Madness. Absolute madness. Right. Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, Ben Dover. Making the food in the countryside, relaxing, great scenery. And those sort of channels, they are really good. And I tell you, the channels I watch, people say to me, oh, you know, you're a Thailand vlogger, as it were. Who do you watch? And I don't really watch anybody. I'm not really, I like Brian Flowers because he's kind of interesting what he talks about. Everything Patty is okay. I watch a bit of Trevor now and again. I don't want to sort of just name names. There's not many I watch, but I don't watch them religiously. But because I'm always Thailand, all my ladyboy competition, you know, talking about Thailand. I'm going to Thailand. I eat Thai food. You know, I just want to get away from it sometimes. So when I go in and relax, I mean, I like to watch a movie, something like, I just watched a real good series on Netflix called, I can't pronounce his name again. You know, that serial killer, Jeffrey Dahmer, is that how you pronounce it? Jeffrey Dahmer. It's 10, it's a series of 10. It's very, very good, guys. If you've got Netflix and you see that, watch it. It's in 10 episodes. It's very sad, especially the I won't give it away, but there's one of his victims is a coloured man who is deaf and dumb, and they follow his story from a baby. It's really sad. Great show, guys. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. But okay, let's not deviate. So what I was going to say to you, we all watch different things, and on your comment, I tell you what I really like to watch, and I do watch it a lot. Not one particular channel, but you know these guys. The channel, the video come up. The title will be "Camping in a Snowstorm," or it'll be called "Lighting a Fire When It's Soaking Wet." And you'll get a guy. He goes into a forest with a backpack, and it's pouring with rain, you know, and he doesn't speak. He gets a tree that's fallen down. He gets all the bark off it, and he manages to light a fire. Then he builds a shelter, and then you see him get food, and he cooks food. I find those videos so relaxing, you know. A guy in the forest, and you'll see him at the end of the video after 20 minutes, 30 minutes. He's laying in this construction that he's made, this home, and he's made, you know, sliced beef and onions, and he's chopped it all up, and he's made a real good stew, and he's got some homemade bread that he's made on a stone on the fire. He'll eat that, and then he gets in his sleep. I love those. I find those so they're so relaxing. You know, they just take you off somewhere. Right. Okay. Where are we? Yeah, I believe it. Reginald Rutherford says there is a YouTube channel that broadcasts the sound of thunderstorms that earns $1 million a year. Yeah, absolutely. You know, people make these YouTube channels and they don't realize there's a guy. Where is he based now? I think he's in New York. He's put a camera on a building, and his camera just films live Times Square. You know, Times Square, it's like Piccadilly in London. So this camera is positioned that it catches everything on Times Square. Times Square is 24 hours, and that's all it is. He just leaves it on. It's live streaming. Thousands of subscribers. I've got a few ideas for myself, you know, but I don't want to give them away here. Right, Matthew Cartwright. Let's not talk about YouTube numbers, okay? Matthew Cartwright. Not many Sundays left before you go, Peter. Crack on the whiskey and let's do anything hour. Well, Matthew, between you and me, I'm on the coffee tonight. Next Sunday, Matthew. Next Sunday is my last stream. Yeah, Barry from East End has said the Dharma series is incredible. If you watched it all, Barry, wasn't it sad? You know, his victim, the guy, the deaf and dumb guy. You know, such a nice guy. You know, I was watching it. I thought, oh, please don't kill him. Let him go. I mean, it was terrible. All right, cohort 61. I just saw that it was recommended to me. Yeah, very good. Yeah, a lot of people are saying they've watched it. It was very good. The last decent thing I watched it as a series was the oh my god, what was it called? The Serpent. Remember that? The Serpent, the guy in the 70s who was murdering backpackers in Thailand, Nepal, all that. That was very good as well. But you know, I've watched it now. I won't watch it again. Yeah, did I say that already? Barry KFC watching Dharma, great show. So yeah, I watched that. So Better Call Saul. I found Better Call Saul. I started watching that, and I got bored. I found the more you got into it, the less interesting it got. It was very good at the beginning, as is the series Fargo. I found that very good at the beginning, and I watched quite a few episodes of that, and I got very bored of that towards the end. I didn't get into that. Bernie, you're still up, mate. You'll be sleeping all day tomorrow. That great dog from China, Dawang, has 1.2 million viewers. All he does is sleep, eat, and walks around. The now Wales ex-Manchester, what's that word? Mulamite dog trio have 728 viewers. It's also quite incredible. Yeah, it really is. Thanks for cheering me up. Right, Pit Master C. I watch those all the time. Yeah, they're brilliant, aren't they? Do you know what I like about YouTube? You know, I had to put some fencing up in my garden. I ain't got a bloody clue. How do you put a fence up? You know, the fence is there. There's a post. There's a panels. But there is a way to do it. And I didn't know how to do it. And I went onto YouTube. How do you put a fence up? And it was there. B&Q did a video on it. And I watched it. I thought, that's easy. And I did it. Right, yours. Netflix documentary about the anthrax attacks in the US was good. What's that called? I'll watch that, yours, because I've finished the Dharma one now. I'm always looking for new stuff. I'll tell you a really good movie as well, if it's your sort of thing on Netflix. It's just come on there. It's called I Was Famous or something like that. It's called I Used to Be Famous. And What it's about a guy who was in a boy band in the 90s. Do you remember? I can't even think. All these boy bands you had out. It was very big in the 90s. But this guy, he was in a boy band when he was probably 20, and he was famous. Thousands of screaming girls. That was in the 90s. It's now 2020, and he's not famous, and he's living in a flat. And he gets together with a guy who's got autism, a kid. I don't want to give the game away, but it's a very, very good movie. Watch it. I used to be famous once, or I was once famous. Nick S again. The Asian victim from Dharma was from Laos, escaped the Lao revolution. Yeah, I know. Terrible. Do you know, I did shed a tear actually. You know, on that, I'm nearly going now thinking about it, but watching that forget what it's called, Dharma documentary, you know, the bit that was really sad, and it did bring a tear to my eye. The Vietnamese kid who got killed, when they did the ceremony in the lounge and they had his picture there, and the grandmother was saying, you know, your favorite food is here, we've got your favorite drink, all your family is here, we are with you. I'll have to stop now because I'm going now, you know, I can feel it now. Right, cohort 61. I thought the Wang belonged to the Chinese country girl, can't remember her name, spin-off. I thought the Wang belonged to the Chinese. I don't know what that's about. Cake. Can't call someone coloured Peter. You know, I always get lots of stick about this. You know, I made a video. A guy sent me a video, and he said in the video he was I don't know, what do I call it? Coloured man, of coloured black. I don't know. I'm not trying to offend anyone, but this guy made a video about him. He sent me a story, and in the story he said Thailand was great. They're not racist at all, but they did call me chocolate man. Right, and the Thais do call, what do I say, coloured people, black people, I don't know. They do say, hello, chocolate man, and they don't mean anything horrible by it. And there is actually a guy in Thailand who has his own channel, who is coloured. I've said it again now. And his channel is called A Chocolate Man in Thailand, because it's a very non-offensive thing between, how do I say it, you know. And I always get in trouble because I can never pick the right word, you know. And people write to me, and they say, "Oh, you can't use that word. That's racist." And I am the least racist person in the world. So my wife says Asian, for heaven's sake, but I don't know what's the correct term. What do I call somebody? Look, if I was in a room of 20 Chinese men, right? There's me and 20 Chinese men, and we're in a hotel conference, and there's 19 Chinese and me, 19 Chinese guys and me, and the receptionist come in and says, "There's a phone call at the front desk for the white guy." I would be so happy because I would know it was me. I wouldn't get offended because I am the white guy. So if that woman come in and said, there's a phone call for the white guy, then Chinese know it's not for them. I would be very happy. I don't know why people get so offended. You know, I'll probably get loads of stick in the comments for this tomorrow. But, you know, what do I call somebody who's not white? You know, I don't know. Right, Dave G, let's get on the whiskey, mate. No, we don't drink that. That coffee's still warm. Right, Terry again. I've just watched The Rescue of the Boys Caught in the Cave in Thailand. Yeah, somebody told me to watch that. There's two different films, Cave Rescue. It's not really my sort of film. I know it's about Thailand, and I know it's supposedly very good, but I haven't watched it because I don't know. Right. Yeah, Dutch Frank says The Serpent was great. I can't watch the BBC because I refuse to buy a TV license. I haven't had one for years. They write me letters, you know, threatening letters, a red line. An enforcement agent will turn up at your door. I'm like, go for it, go for it. They won't be getting through my front door. Enforcement agent, they're salesmen. Right, Paul Harrison. I'm watching Narcos Saints on Netflix. At the moment, it's based on a true story about Korean drug lord in. Talking to Narco, I forget what it's called, the Mexican Narcos. It's based on El Chapo. That's very, very good. Tony Foley, really enjoyed Serpent. That was very good, yeah. Here's 100 baht towards your lunch. You're clever. Hey, Peter, please don't be afraid to make a video that other people have made because some of your viewers, e.g. me, only have time to watch your channel. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And, you know, you have said something very true because when I went to Pattaya, and I'm saying Pattaya now because people tell me off, as well as that last word I used, people tell me off. We get a lot of complaints in because I say pattaya, you know. I always say refund department over there, second door on the right. But you are right. You are right. I mean, hey, Pete, please don't be afraid to make it. Yeah, so when I went there in December to Pattaya, or Pattaya, whatever you want to call it, I actually said, look, I'm not going to make any videos in Pattaya because everybody's down there. All the YouTubers are down there. They've all made videos on soapies, short times, bars, hotels, everything. I've got nothing to bring to the table. And people said, no, make the videos. You haven't made them. So I made some videos and they went down really well. But I'm just going to go down to the latest comments to see if I'm getting anybody slates me for saying, well, I can't say that. Just say Chocolate Man, because what will happen? Some, some person in a part of the world, some tree hugger will come on and think, they don't know nothing about Thailand, and there'll be shock horror report him to YouTube. But look, guys, if you watch this tomorrow, if you're in America or Australia and you come across this few comments, don't take it to heart. For God's sake, it's a YouTube channel where we don't mean any malice by it. It's just right. Matthew, should we call you Sherlock from now on, Matthew? Sherlock Holmes, Matthew Cartwright. I knew that wasn't coffee. It is coffee. How dare you? It's coffee. Oh, it's just strong coffee. Right, okay. How long have we been going now? 2 hours. Let's keep it going a little bit while longer. Is it our Juicy? Can't be Juicy. TV license in Finland. We have to pay tax for our broadcasting company. No exceptions. Well, you know what? We do here, technically, we're supposed to, by law, pay the BBC for licensing. Supposedly, even if you've got a PC or a laptop that can download it, I just won't pay it because I really, guys, I know there's guys out there saying we don't watch the BBC, we don't watch live TV, and really they do, but I don't. The last time I watched terrestrial TV was probably, and I swear on my kid's life, right? The last time was probably 6 months ago. And the only reason I watched it is because Suggs from Madness did a series on, they were called the World War II. Oh God, what was it called again? What they did, they were doing archaeological digs on former World War II sites, like old barrack sites, places where they used to make arms for the First World War. And, that's my, you kind of, that you're tugging on my branches. That's my thing, right? And it was Suggs from Madness, and he did it. And it wasn't on the BBC, actually. I think it was on Channel 4. But, I like that kind of thing. So I watched that. But that was the last time I watched terrestrial TV. I watch Netflix. Sometimes it's a bit old, some of the stuff. But the one thing I watch more than anything is YouTube. I pay $11.99 for a premium membership because I just don't want the adverts. I flick through them. There's a lot of good movies on YouTube. A little bit older, a little bit dated. But, if you're my sort of, at my time in life, you don't mind those older movies. Let me just say hi to Mazza. Peter, get yourself 14s for the coach journey to Heathrow. I don't drink in the day, Mazza, but I get your point, and thank you so much for the super chat. Would be great to see a video of your whole journey. Cheers, man. I will do, Mazza. I will do, definitely. So I won't buy a TV license because simply for the reason I'm not trying to cheat the system. I really don't watch the BBC. I'm not interested to watch not only the BBC. I'm not going to stick the boot into the BBC. I'm not going to get into the whole pedo thing with the BBC. All I say to you is I don't watch BBC. I don't watch ITV. I don't watch anything. I watch Netflix. I watch a little bit of news from somewhere else. I just won't pay it. But, I really get fed up with it. I've got a solicitor I use regular. And every time I write to the BBC licensing people, I CC it to my solicitor so that they know I'm not messing about. But they keep sending me these letters, red band at the top, final warning, our investigators will turn up at your door unannounced. If it goes to court, you could have a record. And I'm like, get stuffed. I'll answer you from the top window. Bloody salesman comes round. Right. Mike Kelso, nothing to do with Thailand, is it? Right. Mike Kelso, yo, guys, have missed much. I fell asleep. I'm not surprised listening to me. I fell asleep when I finished work. I meant to wake up for the start. That's okay. You can do the rerun. Right. But what is it? Barbers for Irish license is required if you have a full TV stop, even if you don't watch TV and they have adverts too. Yeah. There's a lot of people now in the UK. They just won't have a TV license. Do you remember in the 70s, they had these adverts, a load of bollocks, really. They had these adverts in black and white, if you're watching a TV without a license, we're watching you. And they'd go to an old comma van and it had this like round aerial on the roof that turned round. And you had a guy in the van all sinister turning these big dials, it's like, yeah, we're on to you. And then the van stopped outside somebody's house, and this aerial went round like this again. And the guy's on the dial, a load of rubbish, absolute rubbish. Right. Only in Thailand, the BBC are trying to get their rip-off license fee added to our council tax bill. That, I haven't heard. That is absolute. I don't use this word often, right? Outrageous. That is absolutely outrageous. And did I mention it's outrageous? Right. Let's have a look. Damon. Okay. Thanks, Mazza. We'll put that up there because he gives us a super chat. Right. Max Fight says, can't find how to be a monger on YouTube. You found it, mate. You're here. You're here. Capio 17. BBC should run ads and be done with the license. That's something I've actually always admired about the BBC. Not admired, but I used to like it when I used to watch TV regularly. Is do you remember? Don't forget, guys. I remember the first video recording machine. It was like a bloody freezer. It was so big. You know, it had these big clunky. We take it all for granted now. You know, you've got these little boxes at the size of a packet of cigarettes, and you can record up to 2 channels while you're watching a 3rd channel. You can fast forward through the adverts. It's all there now. But I can remember the very first video player. It was massive, absolutely huge thing like this, you know, that deep. The remote was on a cable. There was no infrared. And when you turn it on, you had these buttons. You put a VHS tape in there, and it was like klunk, you know. And you could it had a timer on it to record a TV program at a certain time, but it never worked. You always got it right. It was so complicated, and you couldn't, as far as I can remember, you couldn't watch one channel and record a second channel. You could just record if you're out. So if you go into the pub for the night, you could say, oh, you know, soldiers and Minders on at 9 o'clock. I don't want to miss Minder. And you could set up the timer and it would record Minder. So when you came home at 11, you could watch Minder, but it never worked correctly, you know. And, you know, the one thing I did before them VCRs came out, I still remember before they came out, the one thing we all used to watch live TV. There was no Netflix. There was no movie channels. There was nothing that you could record and flick through. You know, I used to like watching the Sweeney in the 70s with John Thor and his sidekick. You know, the Granada coming through the pane glass window at the beginning. Fantastic. 15-year-old boy, the Sweeney. It was like, you know, I've died and gone to heaven. I always say I'll get a Granada. I never did. And but what I used to like about the BBC is they didn't have any adverts. I used to watch Colditz on a Sunday night. My mother let me watch it. 1973, I think it was on, something like that. And it used to start at about 8 o'clock. Colditz, you know, fantastic. Schoolboy's dream, Colditz and the Sweeney, you know. But you know, you get to a part in it where they're just about to escape. You know, they've sawn through the bar. They've got the rope down the side of the building. They're black in their faces. A German guard goes by with his rifle. All right, ready to go. They're just about to climb out the window. And have you tried new Daz? Now 20% free with it. And you're like, for God's sake, I'm not interested. Do they get out? So I always liked that about the BBC, that you didn't have any adverts. But, you know, nowadays, I agree with you. Just let them run adverts. It doesn't matter, because if you have a program, you like to watch Strictly Come Dancing or something like that, you know, record it and then skip through the adverts. When I watched live TV the last sort of year or so, I never watched it live. I used to go through the schedule, record what I wanted to record, and when I watched it, I skipped through it. So like you say, Capel 17, BBC should run ads and be done with the license. Absolutely. Okay. Big, long way to explain that, but I do agree with you. I think you've guessed that by now. Right, Nick Reels. Apologies. I haven't emailed you back about doing a video chat. I will this week. Nick, you know, I can't even remember what that was all about. Please do, and I will answer you. We've obviously arranged something. I've totally forgot about it. Right, Craig. New Zealand has not had a TV license for years now. Can't believe that in the UK they still have them. Yeah, only for the BBC. And as I say, a lot of people aren't paying them now. Still got nearly 400 in. I was going to keep it down to about an hour and a half tonight because I've got some things to do Monday, tomorrow. But you know what? When there's a lot of people in the stream and I'm getting a lot of feedback, I like to keep it going for a little while longer because it's kind of good. I can't believe I haven't changed this background picture yet. I've only got the same pictures from Friday, nothing new, but there we go. We'll do the hardcore bunch. Okay. Right. Paul Hoskin. I wondered if you were still here, actually, Paul. Oh, that's Paul Harrison. Ireland isn't part of the UK, but Northern Ireland is. Okay. Right. Alan Potter. Someone new in the stream there. I don't recognize that name. There's a brilliant YouTube channel called Chili John Khan. That's a good name. Who does some great and reassuring videos on not paying the TV license. I've actually come across some of those, those channels about not paying TV licenses. But I'll tell you the other kind of channels I used to like them a lot, but not so much now because they're all pretty much repetitive. There's one guy, I'll mention him in a minute, but you know, these guys, a lot of the police don't know some of the laws, and a lot of private security, they haven't got a clue. So what you do, you'll get a guy who's, he'll go up to a factory and he's on a public highway and he'll film inside from the public highway. And you get these Jobsworth come out, you know, with a yellow vest. You can't film in here. Delete that. I didn't give you my permission to film me. And the guy's like, don't need it. You're in a public place. This isn't public. This is private. And he'll say, well, did your company put that bus stop there, or did the council? And they run rings around. I used to love them. And there's a guy, a famous guy who does it. One of the first, actually. He was really the kind of, I would say he was the front runner. And I wish I could remember his name. JB, I think his name is JB. He starts his videos like, yo, if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I mean. I think he's called JB. He was the original filmer of police stations, fire stations, not schools, factories. And he did it really very well. There's a lot of people have jumped on the bandwagon. They've seen his videos and thought, oh, we can make lots of money here. And they do it, but they're second best. They're second. They're not as good as him. He's a guy, yo, at the beginning. You know who I'm talking about if you've watched him. I think his name's JB or JD, something like that. Right, only in Thailand again. Kev12364, BBC did not make same great wildlife programs. I agree with you, but now that have lost the plot. Okay, so I'm going to elaborate on what you've just said there. Yes, I agree. The BBC have made some fantastic documentaries, wildlife. Richard Attenborough, I met him in Bournemouth. I say I met him. I served him a cup of tea when I was 17 years old, but that's another story. Yeah, they do. You know, these wildlife programs, they're fantastic. You can't beat them. But what I would say to that, if people try to justify the licensing fee because of these fantastic documentaries, what I would say about that is, what about Australia? What about America? What about New Zealand? What about Canada? Don't they make good wildlife documentaries? Don't they have lions running after deer in the wild? Don't they make good documentaries? Of course they do. People try to justify the TV license by saying, look what they do. They make these fantastic documentaries. Advertise like Capio 17 says. Just put the advertising out and be done with it. We don't need to sit through it anymore. It's all recorded. Right, Franco DeRosa says, you upset him, Damien. I don't know what that's about, and I don't want to get involved. Right, Reginald Rutherford, that's it, Auditing Britain. You know the guy I mean. Yo, he's really good. He laid the foundations. He's a guy, and I think he actually lives pretty close to me, because when he's feeling a bit lazy, he'll go out to the police station at Northampton. He does local, you know, so I think he's around here somewhere. Right, okay, Auditing Britain, Alan H says, yeah, okay, so we all watch the same sort of thing. Damon says, just doing my job, Franco. 4K chill vibes, Paul Hoskin, yes. Belfast, okay, we won't get into that. Not sure what that means. Leroy, harass people and annoy the police. You must, a sovereign citizen or a retired peace officer. I must admit, yeah. I mean, look, I don't know if you're having a go at me or him or whatever, but I'm sure it's said in a harmless way. I must admit, sometimes some of these guys go out and they harass the police, and you know they're underfunded. They're under, there are always people having a dig at the police. When I was a kid, people respected the police. Okay, now they're seen as a punch bag. They're seen as an scapegoat. People know the law, and when the police approach them, they get them on camera and it's like, well, I don't have to do what you tell me. Who are you? Get lost, get stuffed, you know, and they make videos about it. And I'm like, you know, it's pathetic. You know, they're the police. If somebody broke through your back door at 3 o'clock in the morning and they had the intention of raping your wife and beating you up, who would you call? A YouTuber, or would you call the police? Of course you call the police. I think the police get a really rough deal. I'm sure there's people on here who are going to slate me for it, but, you know, some of these guys who do the filming, the auditing, as it were, they do go a little bit too far, and that's why I like the original guy, who doesn't do that. He holds back a little bit. Right, David Kernan. Hey Peter, let's swap tickets. You can go to Thailand in January, and I will take your place in 2 weeks' time. It's not 2 weeks' time. It's just over a week. Next Sunday is my last stream. Can't wait, and I'm going to miss the winter in the UK as well. Okay. Okay, Nick Reel says, the BBC do run an adverts on their websites if you access it from America. Okay, Yeah, the thing is, you've got to be really careful as well. If you're not paying a TV license, it's very, very easy to go onto your TV and go on to BBC Catch Up or whatever it's called. And when you see something interesting, oh, I want to watch that. But then they'll ask you for your name, your address, your email, and all that. They got you then, haven't they? Saji says, what was eSIM company that someone mentioned earlier? Don't know. Yeah, that's it, Alan. He calls himself AB. Hi, Peter. I actually made a story one Saturday, and the guy's name, he called himself AB, and everybody thought it was this guy, and it wasn't. Right, let's try and get him. Bernie, you're still up, mate. Good to see you. Back to the subject matter on hand of Thailand bound and the depressing departure syndrome, which I have to suffer this Wednesday evening to book a Thailand rebound trip when I propose to do so. Yeah, it's horrible when you have to leave Thailand, isn't it? Right, is it Mike Kelso? I cannot stand auditors. They now go out to antagonize the police and give them a hard time. Yeah, Mike, I'm absolutely, when I am with you on that one. When I said I enjoyed those channels, I mean, the early days of it, when this other guy did it, because he did it for fun. When he interviewed the police, he didn't insult them. He didn't take the mickey. He kind of like said, are you sure about that? Is that the law? Are you sure? It's kind of like a tongue-in-cheek thing, wasn't it? But the guys who do it now, they just take the piss, and yeah, it's painful to watch. Absolutely. Yeah, I doubt it, Toby. It says, hi, Pete. Will you look at your picture, how young you are. Will you be going to any of the rooftop pool parties in Bangkok? Look at me, Toby. Take a wild guess. Can you see me at a pool party in my swimming attire, with a gut? Probably not, Toby. But good to see you in the stream. Nice to have a few young guys in. David, PJ Audits is a good channel. Yeah, okay. Haven't heard of him. Talking about YouTubers, a while ago we were talking about YouTubers and what's popular and what wasn't. I'll tell you something my wife watches. We now sleep in separate rooms. It's nothing to do with our divorce. It's because she snores like wild and I snore really loud. And in fact, when I close my door, I can still hear her snoring. It's terrible. The only way we get a good night's sleep is to have separate rooms. We do. And a lot of older people do these days. But one day I went up to the bathroom. I've got a toilet downstairs, but I had to go upstairs. And I thought, what's she watching? I put a 55-inch TV on the wall for her because she watches all the Korean dramas and Korean movies. You get it all now. She's like hooked, Korean everything. And there's a video showing of a guy. He's a Korean guy with food pots, and there's no sound. Well, there is sound, but there's no dialogue or music, nothing. All it is, he's sitting there and he's got his chopsticks. And he takes rice, and then he takes this, and he's eating. He's like, because they make a lot of noise, the Koreans, when they eat, right? And then he eats a bit of rice, takes a bit of fish. And I stood outside the door and I'm watching. I'm thinking something's going to happen. Like, this is a gag. Like the rice bowl's going to explode, or he's going to get his old fella out or something. I don't know. And I said to my wife, I said, what are you watching? She says, oh, this is great. I watch it every night. I said, well, what is it? She says, oh, he just eats. Every night he eats a different meal. And I said, well, how many subscribers she's got? She said, 900,000. And I'm like, 900,000? What does he do? And she said, he just eats. And I says, and what else does he do? She said, that's it. And I said, well, why are you watching him? She says, it's interesting. And I says, come downstairs. I'll make a sandwich. You can eat. Watch me eat. She said, no. It's Korean food. He does it. And it's really nice because sometimes he has fish and he has bulgogi and he has it. And I'm like, for God's sake, well, what am I missing out on here? Right. Leroy. Damn many people in Belfast. Oh, right. Okay. There's a bit of an island theme going on here. Yeah, Alan, I don't agree with that, Alan. I'm going to, I'm not going to do any nasties on here. Opinions are like backsides. We've all got one. We're all entitled to air it, okay? Police deserve what they got. There's a few bad apples, but at the end of the day, they've got a real difficult job. And if I heard my back door get smashed in at 2 o'clock in the morning when I was in bed, I wouldn't call another YouTuber. I'll be straight on the 99 call to get the police around there. They're not perfect. They're not as good as they used to be in the 80s, 70s, whatever. They've got a difficult job, mate. Very difficult. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Reginald Rutherford said British police are also on their way out. So if they're on the way out, who are going to replace them? I mean, it's not, you can't not have anybody, you know, if there is no laws, is there? And if there's no laws, what's the point of working hard and getting a nice house and a nice car? Because all that will happen is somebody hasn't got it. There's no laws. They'll come to your front door. They'll kick your door in, rape your wife, go through your drawers and take everything that's valuable, pick up your car keys and drive off. Who's going to stop them? No police, right? I can't see it. Right, only in Thailand. Half the stuff the BBC produce and expect US to pay for a license. They give the same stuff for free to foreign countries. Yeah. Yeah, Nick Real says, last time I was in Thailand for 2 weeks in April, I lost 10 pounds. I've got a friend, when he goes to Thailand for a month or so, he always loses a lot of weight because what he does, he doesn't eat any carbohydrates. So when he goes to a restaurant and he has like chicken with cashew nuts, instead of having rice and chicken cashew nuts, he has chicken cashew nuts and morning glory. And that's filling. And he doesn't, you know, he loses the weight. And that's my master plan to lose weight when I go there. I'm going to try and cut out the carbohydrate. Of course, I drink beer, which is bad for you, but you know, I'm on holiday at the end of the day, aren't I? Right, Reginald again. Police are being defunded without us knowing. The quality of officers are, yeah, absolutely, I agree with you there. Right, Richard Martin, you're killing me with the eating story. Sorry. But it is true, that's what she watches. Right, Mike, PJ orders is a complete tool. He's a bad. I remember him antagonize prison staff when. I know the guy you're talking about. Yeah, he's a young guy, isn't he? He goes to a prison and he'll be on the outer wall, obviously, because he's outside the prison, and he can see the windows. He shouts up at him and he's like, "Yeah, what's your name? How long you in for?" And all that. If it's the guy I'm thinking of, he's a dick, a total dick. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's okay. Look. Cohort 61 says, my Chinese wife watches lots of Chinese food prep videos. Fair enough. Nothing wrong with that. Is it, I don't know if it's Juicy or Jussie. I think it's Jussie. It can't be Juicy. I have CPAP device as I sleep, APNEA, snoring stopped completely after I got the device. Ah, right. Another note. Hang on. Right. APNA. I'll put snoring. Okay, I'm on it. Thank you very much. Right. Willbot UK, backdoor getting smashed in. Well, it's true though, isn't it? Think about it. You've got the haves and you have nots. I'm not saying I'm a have, but I'm not a have not. I'm kind of in the middle. And if there was no police and guys were out there and they thought, well, we can do what we want because there's no law and all the jewelry shops and banks have been robbed because they're the first target, and someone turned up at my door, had his Dr. Martin size 12 cherry boot on, bashed the front door in, and he knows nothing's going to happen. Why would he not do it? I mean, I try my best to get my wife's walkout. I'd be behind the door like this, but I'm 62. I mean, how much damage can I do to like 2 or 3 guys? Right, Damien, my Thai partner watches the same thing. It's crazy, and I don't understand it with watching someone eating food. Yeah, it's really, really weird. To be fair, the Koreans, hang on. I can't get up and leave to do it. I had to do it quickly there. Sorry about that. To be fair, in the Korean culture, I suppose it's the same in some Asian cultures, many Asian cultures, I should say. Something that's very big in Korea, I know, obviously I have been and worked in Korea. It's very depressing for Korean people to eat on their own. So, you know, if I had a bed sit or a flat here on my own, like Damien lives on his own, he eats every night, couldn't care less, loves it, okay? So he'll order an Indian or he makes a lot of his own food, has it, no problem whatsoever. But for Korean people, I know this for a fact, it's very depressing and they get a very lonely feeling from eating alone because they don't do it. They have big families, they all get together. The evening meal is a big deal. And for somebody like a businessman who goes to Thailand, he's in his room. I know the jokes are going to come now, but seriously, he's in Thailand, he's doing business, and he eats on his own in a restaurant, for instance. They don't like it. It's depressing. And there was a little Korean girl. She's about 27, 28. She's got a very, very popular YouTube channel. And the reason being why it's so popular is because all she does is eat. But why her channel is a lot more popular is because she does a little intro. So she'll come on and she'll have all the food prepped. And she she's aiming herself at these guys who are, or women who are in a hotel room or a restaurant sitting alone, and these guys get their phones prepped ready for her coming on. You know, dinner time is, I'm guessing now it's in Korean, but it will say, come on guys, join me, dinner time is at 7 p.m. tonight. And whatever her name is, she comes on and says, hi guys, are you ready to eat tonight? I'm having fish and rice. I know this through my wife because she translated it for me, right? So tonight we're having fish and rice and bulgogi and a few this and a few that. Are you ready to eat? Right, let's see what I'm having. What are you guys having? And then she'll start eating. She'll say, oh, this is yummy, isn't it? And then the guy in his hotel room or in the restaurant, he's eating and he watches this video, and it somehow it makes him feel a lot better because he's not on his own. He's not eating on his own. And this girl's got millions of subscribers. She's making lots and lots of money, and she does it every day at about the same time. And her channel in Korean is called something like Dinner Time with Yongyam, whatever her name is. I don't know. That's not a Korean name. I just made it up. You know, but, you know, I mean, it obviously it works. You know, some people like it, and Korean people just do not like to eat on their own. Paul Harrison. Peter, new channel idea. Peter eats Korean. Do you know, I can't stand Korean food because it's got so much garlic in it. You know, one of the biggest arguments me and my wife have had over years and years and years, and I try to be fair, but when she cooks, let me put it like this way, it's like leaving a skinned cat up in the kitchen for 3 weeks and then opening the door. It absolutely stinks, you know. I might be being a little bit unfair here. Most of it's a garlic smell, but they use so much garlic in Korean food cooking. And kimchi, I forget about it. I mean, it's, you know, right, let's get off this subject. She doesn't watch my streams, but today of all days, she'll probably watch, and she'll be the one with a big wok waiting behind the door. Right, Capio 17, Pete, you can't say cherry anymore. D-Miss are also available in other colors. Okay, it's funny you should say that because nothing to do with what you're saying, but one of the stories, the guy says, the stories for next Saturday, my Thai girlfriend was called Cherry. I'm sure that wasn't a real name, but that's what I'll call her. I know that isn't what you're getting at, but just a coincidence. Right, mukbang has become very popular on YouTube, creating millions of viewers. I'd love to know how much these guys earn. They must be like very rich. Mercy Paul says garlic is the best. Okay. Right, how long have we gone? Guys, I think that's it now. It's been a good stream. I mean, I'm really impressed. There was like nearly 500 people in earlier. I could keep going a bit longer, but I don't want to because I've got things to do tomorrow. I have enjoyed it. I really have. So what I want to do now, I want to say a big thank you to the moderators out there. Damien, of course, the handsome man, and Franco, who's in Belgium. Thank you to him as well for being a decent moderator. Thank you to all you guys who did the super chats tonight. It's always appreciated. I'm just lining stuff up here. Yeah, thanks guys for watching tonight. It's been a great stream. I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it. Next Sunday will be my last stream from the UK. As I said, I'll be here on Friday. We've got Sheila, I hope, next Sunday stream. Friday it will just be me, unfortunately. But yeah, generally speaking, that's about it. So thanks to Damien. Thanks to Frank for moderating there. A big thanks to Capil for once again being a very generous man by 5 memberships. My membership has gone like this over the last 2 weeks. And most of all, thanks for you guys for joining in the chat and commenting tonight. It's been a good one. And I'll see you all real soon. So thanks a lot, guys, for watching, and have a good week, okay?